No, you are. If you're not doing this for a professional reason, I would not do that. Do it when you can, and stop when you want. But don't be consistent every day though. That's what thing needs to be. So if 30 days is fine, 30 days is what it's gonna be. Because all you gotta do is make it into a chore. You're gonna get bored of it. You're gonna get tired of it. You're gonna see it as like a job, and you're not gonna have fun with it. And you're gonna drop it from either burnout, especially if you're not trying to do this professionally. I wouldn't recommend it at all. I'll probably stream ages back, but I want to quickly come and say that you. Oh, no problem. No problem. No problem. I'm glad that my work, or what I do, gives you a form of inspiration. I'm glad. I'm so happy about that. Thank you. I hope. I think right here. But yeah, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. That. And then. That. Fly away. Yeah, fly away. This up here, side. Shit. Alright, and then erase this. Oop, erase this part. Because it's just too straight away. Yeah, that's right. Okay, now as I erase this part. And then curve it like this. Like that. I think that looks about right. I'm doing alright. How about you? Hope you're doing well. Good stuff. I hope you're doing well. That's good. And to whoever was talking to me earlier about how long you need to draw, there's no a specific time or how long you should draw. Just stay consistent with it. It could be 15 minutes a day if you want. Okay, the leg here. Okay, so we need to. That's good. Working at it, keep working at it. Situations. The head is too big.
Without the ones like you working tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. No matter your industry, Ranger's here for you with professionally grade supplies. Call or Ranger.com or just stop by.
Okay, there we go.
Speeding
while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn up in front of you. A pedestrian could be running right now. All of this speeding could keep things safe. Speeding catches up with you. Pay for, claim it from.
Okay, like that. And then turns here. Okay. Heavy, but they never seen clothes. Never cold. Okay, next thing. It's all so different now. Think about how sure they were feeling about worked out. What's the feel about the things I've done? Now I hurt you, things will never be the same. No love I ever knew, I give it all away. Lost my time.
say the only brain will be carried. So with the all-new 2025 Ford Expedition Hummer, brain alive, the 3 dirt bikes, intense, an entire group ready to take flights. Panoramic 21st display and confidence to push your limits. The all-new 2025 Ford Expedition Hummer.
Always consult the information before outdoor driving. Always wearing trail mix while being appropriate safety. Match payload, bearing kit, accessories, vehicle configuration, see label on origin, and capacity of the vehicle, always properly secure cargo.
What's going down? Guess that is never going to happen again. Which one's going to land? It's alright. Well, thank you, though. That's on. Just super hyper focused. Hyper focused. Okay. I don't like the eyes and I don't like the head shape because it's really thick and it really looks really annoying. So I'm going to clean it up and then we're gonna go to the chibi drawing and then we'll call it a night. So I gotta go back editing. And the eyes are annoying. I do not like them. I do not like the eyes. This has to go. Okay, Avenue. Eyes are still annoying. neck is too far up and too high, so we need to bring that down. It's not better. I don't like the head shape. The head is too, I think, meh. That's always goodbye. Not rise. Okay. Waste my time with you. I'm telling you. Hey, Emmy. I'm doing well, hon. Hope you're doing well. How's your day, M&M's? Visualize. It's the best way to survive. Around a time or two, just to waste my time with you. That's good. What have you been up to at work? The Kukome hairstyle. To your brother? What? Wait. Tell me what happened. What the hell? The fuck? That's crazy. What the fuck? Like, if it's a lot, don't text it. But if it's something that's simple, then, other than just being rude, like, well, how'd that come about? Okay. You can tell me on Instagram or TikTok. That's crazy. That's crazy. Dirty little secret. Dirty little secret. Okay, like that. Okay. Okay. Me. What's new? Without counting the crimes. All the time. Burn it down, just burn it down. Just It was cool. Nice drawing, thank you. Why is it not reading you guys' stuff? What the fuck? I just realized. Oh, it's been off. Sorry about that. You guys been probably talking. A flashbang? Huh. Okay, I'll check it out in a second. Either 30 to 40 minutes. Ah, okay. That's what I'm rehearing everything that was said. Hold on. Thank you. Hope you're doing okay as well, Roxy. Thank you. A smirking goldfish. That's good. Okay, I'll read it in a second. I have to rehear everything that was said on YouTube. I did not know it was not reading it to me. I thought it was just because it was quiet. I realized that was not the case. Fucking AI did not read the shit in my ear, so I was like, oh snap. Kinda hate when that happens. What is that for what? Okay. Thank you. Ugh. Eh. I don't really like the... Oh, that's really cool. What is that for? I'm not really sure what your question was about over there, Roxy. Well, it depends. Circles are meant for more gestural, and it's for more gestures. Squares are more for accuracy, and yes, I'm doing fine. Hope you're doing fine as well. No. I don't know where you got that idea from. Wait, are you talking about that sticker thing that you just saw? You're not talking about the drawing? Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's just look. Okay, sorry. Hold on. Let me fix them. Let me see. Sorry about that. Sorry, I have the thing in front of my face, so it keeps trying to track my face. That.
We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
It makes you feel guilty. I'm sorry. Stop spinning in my songs and I can't walk around. And the words I speak, I have to keep things honest. I'm a safe bet when it works out. And what the hell are they now? Okay. For the broken. Now what you do is to listen more. That's all by the time. Where's the color? You're not having so fun. Yeah, Because I have like both cameras in front of me, so when I'm trying to get the right angle, I move my head and try to look under it. I have two cameras, two phones in front of me. So yeah, that's where the problem comes in. Yep. Hey Mike, what's going on, bro? Hello. Okay. I'm going to... That's good. Keep that exercise up. Good. Don't worry, it did. It's just funny when people point it out because I keep forgetting that you guys can see that. I'm gonna get a better camera anyway. Okay, I'm going to save her later because I need to get to the commission. I wanted to get something out before I started doing some actual drawing, some sketches. So we did some warm-ups that came out pretty good. We did 1, 2, 3, I think 4 and 5, and then we did 1, 2, and then we did 3. This one was really more undone than anything. I'll be using these for the what do you call it? The Patreon. Okay, let's see real quick. Now, I wanted to get this done, but when I think of it now, I'm going to redo this real quick. But what I'm going to do, I don't need to do much of anything. I just need to retrace everything because it looks good, but it could be better because there's certain areas that shouldn't be so thickened. So we're going to fix that. Alright, and then we're going to put in the colors. Thank you, Emma. I'll see you in a bit, hon. I'm going to turn this down. And all I have to do... So I'm going to take the size, I want to say size 3. And we're going to do this whole part. Actually, no, we'll do a size... Yeah, no, I'll do a size, no, size 15. And then we'll jump to like a size 3 or 4. That's what we'll do. Alright, so I'm going to... Yes, I'm still watching.
Don't hold it all in. The racing thoughts, the overwhelm, 988 is here. You don't have to figure it out alone. You can text, call, or chat online. Someone's always there to listen. 988.
Okay.
Free, confidential.
Let's do this. So, this is going to be easy and to the point.
And we've got you.
Okay, we don't want it that thick. We want it thin. Like that. We want it to be one cohesive line. I turned off the pen pressure for this very thing. You don't want the lines to variate as I do them, because it's going to look really not so unified. There you go. And the best thing about doing this is that when you're using the symmetrical tool, it does the other side, so I don't have to do both sides. I can just do one side, and if everything goes well, I don't do anything. Trying to keep. Okay. So this is one of my secrets on how I keep I keep the lines consistent completely, so it has that professional look. So it doesn't look like it varies between lines. Because we're just doing the outline right now, and then we will keep going. Oops. This is the same tool I use when making VTubing models. See how much more unified the lines are? They don't look like they're variating from the old one. Like this is the new one, this is the old one. Right? See how they look so wonky? But like if you look at the old one, the new one, they all feel cohesive with each other. So they don't feel like it's like variating, like a Ed and an Eddie thing where it's kind of like wiggling around. Okay. All right. All right. go back over here. Okay. All right, over here. I'm gonna. No, go to YouTube. Let's see. All right, got something to listen to.
In connection to investigation, quote, allegations of criminal acts last May in an Arizona shopping mall. The YouTube star was reportedly not present in the home when the search happened. The LA Times reporting that multiple weapons were found and taken from the property. The FBI has confirmed that no arrests were made.
You told me I couldn't say anything because Eddie was being investigated.
So this is about Logan Paul again. He's in some form of trouble again. I don't know how, like, is this on purpose? Is this how they keep, like, clout? Most of the time, these YouTubers, they just do insane, illegal stuff. Is that what this is about? Is that how you stay on top?
Investigated by the FBI, and that was confidential information. It's all over the internet. I've been let on for a year, bro. I've also asked you to audit the contract for the game and see where the money went so many times, and that never happened either. Do you see how this looks?
I see how it looks.
What did you do?
Tried to help to get the project done. That's all I did.
Logan Paul, a YouTuber with over 20 million followers, is caught up in a massive crypto fraud lawsuit involving millions of dollars, with both the FBI and SEC digging into allegations of deception and market manipulation. A slew of confidential documents submitted by whistleblowers has turned into damning evidence against him. If everything comes to light, it's predicted that his entire career could come crashing down.
Logan Paul was
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. We already knew that. They always pushing like crypto stuff all day, every day when they get the chance. Like what? That's nothing new.
afraid of everyone seeing this that he filed a motion to preserve confidentiality and then not long after withdrew that motion for some unknown reason.
Are you curious about the documents Logan Paul is scrambling to keep under wraps? A trove of files that could shatter the reputation of a top-tier YouTuber, exposing jaw-dropping truths about the real Logan completely at odds with the image he's carefully crafted. Come closer and let's dive deep into this saga to uncover those hidden documents together.
Carefully?
Limu, I drive. You help people customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
What happens when real patients move curing hepatitis C from their to-do list to their today?
No. Like, what? Like, I don't understand.
Understand the side effects was important to me. I talked to my doctor about Epclusa.
Epclusa treats all types of chronic hepatitis C.
That doesn't make no sense. I mean, like, I don't think he crafted anything.
Epclusa is one pill once a day.
A lot of people know who he is because of the bullshit he was doing back in the past. What are you talking about?
The lawsuit between Logan Paul and investigative journalist Poppyzilla has been eating up headlines, grabbing the attention of
Yeah, I thought that too.
everywhere. As of now, things are still up in the air. No new details have surfaced. No court dates have been set. The silence is almost eerie, but I suspect it won't last long. The FBI seems to be quietly piecing things together behind the scenes, and the truth will likely come to light soon. It all kicked off when Logan Paul jumped into promoting and investing in CryptoZoo back in August 2021, pitching it as an exciting game where players could strike it rich. CryptoZoo was billed as a blockchain gaming ecosystem where players could buy NFTs in the form of eggs or animals, breed them to create new species, and turn a profit. The project had Logan Paul and his collaborators Jake Greenbaum, Eddie Abinez, Danielle Strobel, and Ofer Bentov pouring in a cool $1 million. Leveraging his massive fame, Logan relentlessly hyped CryptoZoo with the most glowing promises.
CryptoZoo is a blockchain project that I created about a year and a half ago.
I think so.
You buy these eggs on the blockchain and you can hatch them into what are called base animals. And then you can breed your base animals with each other to create fun-looking.
With his colossal influence, Logan Paul effortlessly won over the trust of his fans and the crypto gaming crowd. CryptoZoo exploded into a frenzy, raking in millions of dollars in
They
no
still
time
doing
flat.
this?
Everything seemed
Can
to be
we
cruising
stop
along.
this?
A
I don't
groundbreaking
like.
blockchain game, NFT eggs poised to hatch rare creatures, promising massive returns for investors. But then the veil of deception started to unravel. What Logan touted as a game was never actually completed. CryptoZoo flat out didn't work, literally. No eggs hatched, no creatures materialized, and most critically, nobody made a single penny. All those grand promises, those polished promo videos, were just a shiny facade for a carefully orchestrated scheme to profit off the blind faith of his fans. Investors, mostly diehard supporters, were left reeling when the truth came crashing down. They couldn't withdraw their funds. Millions of dollars vanished without a trace. A game that never functioned. A flawless con. And Logan Paul was at the epicenter. You see, those investors weren't naive enough to just swallow their losses quietly. They banded together, filing lawsuits accusing Logan Paul of fraud, market manipulation, and unjust enrichment. In response, Logan deflected blame onto his team, particularly Eddie Ibanez, claiming his mismanagement led Zach Kelling to steal the game's source code and bolt to Switzerland. Nobody bought these excuses. People saw right through Logan's attempts to dodge accountability. He kept insisting, "We didn't scam anyone. I've never scammed anybody. I care deeply about my audience and my brand. I don't need to scam to make money." But you'd need a miracle to believe him. Just take a look at Logan's track record with crypto controversies. This isn't his first mess. Before CryptoZoo, he was heavily involved in promoting various cryptocurrencies. Most recently, Dinkdoink. That coin got slammed for fraud allegations after Logan urged people to buy in for quick gains, only for its value to crash by a staggering 96%. Tellingly, an anonymous wallet closely tied to Logan's public wallet was found to have scooped up Dinkdoink before his promotions, cashing in on profits in the hundreds of thousands.
Oh my God.
Let's rewind to CryptoZoo. Even setting aside the fraud allegations, the fact that Logan Paul kept hyping it as a handcrafted art project, only for it to be exposed as using stock images from Adobe Stock, was already a brazen lie. The public started to stir, and the outrage exploded like never before when a prominent investigative figure, CoffeeZilla, stepped into the spotlight. He didn't just speak out, he unleashed a full-on series of YouTube videos dismantling Logan Paul's CryptoZoo project. If you're curious to dive into the saga firsthand, swing by CoffeeZilla's YouTube channel, but here, I'll break down the key points his gripping, twist-filled investigation laid bare. Right from the titles, CoffeeZilla didn't mince words, flat out calling Logan Paul a scam. He branded CryptoZoo a sham, dressed up with a flashy facade, but hiding some ugly truths underneath. These weren't random accusations. I'm convinced CoffeeZilla had been quietly chasing this story for a long time, digging deep, pulling information from every angle, developers, investors who lost big, and even insiders who were there when CryptoZoo was first hatched. Among those conversations, one stood out, a bombshell exchange with Zach Kelling, a key figure in building the project. Zach dropped a jaw-dropping revelation. The real reason he held onto the game's source code wasn't at all...
I think the biggest obvious thing that really popped into that was like, when you name it after the very genre that you're talking about, like if you name it CryptoZoo, what are you gonna think? You're gonna think, this is not it. Right? It's like me making a ninja game and calling Ninja Game with money. Something doesn't feel right when you call it just the genre itself. What was it called? CryptoZoo? That was called, like, what the hell? I don't think that's a good look, bro. I'm just saying.
All what was initially claimed.
It doesn't sound like a game. It just sounds like another meme coin.
And the only thing they brought to the table were a bunch of Photoshop JPEGs.
So Z claims he wasn't blackmailing anyone. He had to hire a team to develop this whole thing, and he just wanted to be paid for the work they did.
According to CoffeeZilla, the CryptoZoo project showed clear signs of market manipulation and failed to deliver on its hyped-up promises, costing investors millions of dollars. Core features like egg hatching or animal breeding didn't work, leaving investors out tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars with no way to cash out. In short, it was a blockchain bust spearheaded by Logan Paul. In his videos, CoffeeZilla revealed that Logan Paul had hired what he called con artists, including Zach Kelling, the lead developer, who allegedly held the project's source code hostage over unpaid wages. Eddie Ibanez accused of faking his credentials and being a professional scammer, and Jake Greenbaum allegedly siphoning off $6 million from the project. At first, when these claims came to light, Logan Paul brushed them off. He even posted a video accusing CoffeeZilla of exploiting his name for views and cash. But Logan underestimated the tidal wave of public backlash which caught the attention of both the FBI and SEC. Forced to backtrack, Logan issued an apology and floated plans for future compensation.
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize for how this has unfolded thus far, and I want people to know that they can trust me and that I'll always take care of the fans and people who support me.
Oh, this dude don't learn.
I appreciate your guys' patience while we do our internal investigation, and I promise to be transparent and disclose any information we find out in the process. And lastly, thank you, CoffeeZilla.
Grainger knows that if you're a lineman in
Thank
charge
you,
of keeping the lights
CopyZilla,
on,
for exposing my
you go to
bullshit.
great lengths. And sometimes
No, yeah, thank you for exposing my bullshit. I tried to defend myself on, and then because the FBI gave me a very harsh letter on that, I have to say thank you to you for letting me know.
and heights to ensure
Oh
the power
my
is
God.
always flowing.
Stop at dropping expose videos.
This, and I am very
Yes,
grateful
news
for
today.
your work and
It's
your investigation.
Logan Paul is always in something, in some bullshit.
CopyZilla didn't just stop at dropping expose videos. He took things to a whole new level by filing complaints about the CryptoZoo project directly with the FBI and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. That
Damn.
move flung open the doors to a full-blown investigation. Probes into securities fraud, potential money laundering, and a tangle of shady dealings tied to CryptoZoo and Dinkdoin kicked off in no time. CopyZilla didn't show up empty-handed. He brought receipts, not just talk. Internal messages, confidential documents, leaked conversations. He meticulously gathered it all. In response, on June 27, 2024, Logan Paul fired back with a lawsuit against CopyZilla, accusing him of defamation and tarnishing his reputation by spreading false information. Logan demanded $75,000 in damages,
But what makes it
insisting
false?
he had no intent to scam anyone and only wanted to build a legitimate game. CopyZilla didn't flinch. Right after getting wind of the lawsuit, he filed a motion to transfer
See,
the
this
case
is the
from
problem
San
I
Antonio
have
to
with these
Austin.
YouTubers. When they ever say, oh, that's false, okay, what is it that is false? Tell me the part that is actually false, and tell me the part that what they said is true. That's the problem. They focus on the thing that is false, but you never told me what was actually true.
Texas, attaching over 100 pages of evidence, including a slew of text messages exchanged between Logan Paul and his inner circle. At this point, Logan seemed to panic. He quickly filed a request to seal those documents, arguing that CopyZilla deliberately included sensitive material to harm and humiliate him. Logan feared the public release of these documents, claiming they were irrelevant to the venue transfer motion and calling CopyZilla's move a dirty tactic. Want to know about those?
Really? I have never had a Prime. Does it really taste like that, or are you making a joke? I can't tell. Because I legitimately never had it. People say it tastes like ass. Some people taste like... Someone said it tastes like chicken water, but I don't know if that's actually true. I think that was just bullshitting, but you tell me.
Those documents, from what I've dug up, they contain text messages with some pretty unflattering language from Logan. In them, he allegedly took shots at CopyZilla, revealing a personal vendetta to punish him and drain his financial resources, rather than focusing on resolving CryptoZoo disputes. Logan even talked about making those who wronged him suffer. If these messages go public, his public image could take a serious hit. On top of that, Logan argued that CopyZilla was unfairly singling him out because of his influence, instead of targeting the broader CryptoZoo team. In reality, CopyZilla laid out a detailed
But dude,
timeline
you're
of
the...
events.
No, bullshit. I don't care. Listen, you are Logan Paul. You're bigger than all these people. Even if these people didn't have you and started saying we're doing a CryptoZoo thing, game, whatever, it wouldn't have the same traction if you said it. That's where the problem comes in. This is why it's very, very, very important, if you're a celebrity or someone influenced, be extremely careful on what you're promoting. Because what you're promoting, you can send a lot of people into harm's way because they trust you or they like you for whatever you do or whatever you give them to want them to follow you. So it's your job, responsibility, not to promote things to them that could be harmful to them in the long run or at all. That's the point. That's why he's coming after you. Yes, he's also coming after the CryptoZoo thing, but you have to keep in mind, you are the one who is spearheading this through your mouth, through your brand. And remember, it's like if AOC started pushing CryptoZoo, right? And people went to go see it or go and check it out because it's AOC, not because it's CryptoZoo. Is it, did you just try it for the first time, or have you been drinking it lately? That's the real question.
To showcase his communications with CryptoZoo's team and federal authorities, shedding light on what he knew and when he knew it, directly tied to the claims he's made. October 2022, CopyZilla reached out to the FBI, sharing intel about the CryptoZoo crew. On October 23rd, he filed an initial whistleblower report with the SEC, alleging that Paul and his team recklessly caused millions in losses. Between October 25 and 27, He received group messages and meeting notes from a confidential source, exposing market manipulation, which he promptly passed on to the FBI. February 2023. The SEC contacted CoffeeZilla for a voluntary discussion about their investigation. March 2023. The SEC summoned Logan Paul to provide details on CryptoZoo and other crypto fraud allegations, including those tied to Dinkdoin. Logan Paul recently announced that the SEC's investigation into him has wrapped up, spinning it as a victory lap, claiming they found no evidence of fraud or manipulation tied to CryptoZoo or Dinkdoin. The federal courts won't be taking him to trial, and there's no sign of criminal charges. But here's the catch. The SEC's retreat isn't about Logan being cleared, it's about a shift in policy under Trump earlier this year, narrowing the scope of crypto-related probes. Logan's case isn't the only one. The SEC has pulled back from a slew of cryptocurrency investigations. In other words, Logan hasn't been exonerated. They just stopped chasing. The SEC might be done, but the FBI, they're eerily quiet. And that's a dangerous kind of silence. Analysts suspect the FBI is still digging into Logan Paul over CryptoZoo, a project accused of being a scam that left thousands of small-time investors high and dry holding worthless NFTs. Anyone who knows the FBI understands this. When they go silent, it's because they're working. For now, Logan Paul is still out there, free as a bird. He's streaming, hawking his energy drinks, wrestling in WWE, even teasing new projects. But if the FBI is indeed circling CryptoZoo, the story's far from over. When they move, they strike without warning. Even someone like Logan Paul isn't ready for that. Think of Diddy's case. The FBI was investigating for months, completely under the radar, until the evidence was airtight and the arrest went public. That's why things are so quiet right now, with no conclusions in sight. Think Logan's in the clear?
Was it by his head?
Keep an eye out for what comes next. In the wild world of crypto, where reputations can rake in millions in hours, they can also vanish just as fast if you're not clean. And with the FBI, this saga might just be getting started. Logan Paul was once the textbook example of someone who turned fame into a multi-million-dollar empire.
You said it tastes salty, right? Why would it taste salty?
From YouTube to the investment stage, he was everywhere, pulling in millions of followers and raking in millions in revenue. But here's the thing, that success didn't come with accountability. Logan didn't hesitate to dive into shady crypto projects, where his audience's trust was treated like a commodity to be cashed in. When those ventures like CryptoZoo crashed and burned, it wasn't just fans' wallets that took a hit. It was their faith in the idol they once looked up to. When someone with that kind of influence chooses quick profits over transparency, the fallout isn't just a scandal, it's a fracture in the bond with their audience.
Correct.
No matter how many fans or big deals you've got, one ethical misstep can wipe it all away in the public's eyes.
Correct.
So the question isn't just, can Logan Paul win back that trust? It's also, should we, the ones watching, give him that chance? The lawsuits keep piling up, but the outcome almost feels beside the point for fans who've already lost their faith. What about you? Do you still believe in Logan Paul?
Nope, never did. I never did! I never liked this man. Never really watched his videos, to be honest. Just hear insane things this man be doing. He be doing crazy things! Oh, okay. Okay. I totally understand. Went broke, huh?
BetMGM Casino has the most exciting live dealer tables. So when you want the magic of Vegas, you get the magic of Vegas. Anytime, anywhere. Download BetMGM Casino, the casino born in Vegas.
You ever see an artist with a platinum record, designer clothes, a Lambo in the background, and think, damn, they must be rich?
To the casino?
Yeah, nah.
This music shit is a rap. I'm saying all of the musicians are broke.
There's only a few artists in the game that really make money. So everything you seeing ain't real. I was really thinking, bro, why do everybody got money and I don't got no money? Is it because I'm independent? The truth is, everybody didn't have no money. But, you know, they don't tell you that because the label job is to make it look like you got some money. We'll give you the car, we're gonna give you the cosigns, we're gonna put you in the studio with this motherfucker, we're gonna have cameras following you around everywhere you go. I was thinking like, damn, everybody getting money but me. But nah, everybody look like they got money except me. You know what I'm saying?
Some of your favorite artists were living off ramen noodles while topping the Billboard charts. And not just one-hit wonders. I'm talking about legends.
How does that
Grammy
work?
winners, icons, dead broke. In this video, we're diving into the brokest artists in the music industry. Some lost it all from bad deals, and others just made terrible decisions. But the ending is always the same. Broken dreams, empty wallets, and sometimes FBI raids. Let's get into
What's with the FBI today?
CLC was untouchable. The trio Lisa Left Eye Lopez, Tion T-Boz Watkins, and Rosanda Chili Thomas exploded onto the scene in the early 90s with a unique blend of R&B, hip-hop, and pop. Their debut album, Ooh, on the TLC tip, set the stage. But it was Crazy Sexy Cool that turned them into legends. That album went 12 times platinum. They were everywhere. MTV, BET, award shows. They won Grammys. They influenced fashion. They became role models. Their image was bold. Their music was iconic. And their success was unstoppable. Until it wasn't. In 1995, the headlines hit. TLC files for bankruptcy.
We are the biggest selling female group ever. 10 million albums worldwide.
Then where all the money go? Where's all that money going?
We've been in this business for 5 years, and we are broke as broke can be. And
are you
we're
kidding?
not, like, trying to be a sad story. If that was the case, we would have been on everybody's talk show talking about how broke we are. We haven't done that. I know it's hard to believe because we've sold so many albums, but it is possible. That's the deal here. So, and we're not happy at all.
How does that even happen? Here's the trick. They signed to LaFace Records under a contract so predatory, it could have been drafted by a Bond villain.
Damn.
TLC earned less than 10 cents per album sold.
10 cents
By the time you
per
cut that up
album
between
sold?
3 people, take out taxes, pay managers, lawyers, stylists, and recoup the label's expenses, it's ramen noodles budget at best. They were handed what's called an advance. Money that's not free, by the way. It's basically a loan. The label pays for studio time, marketing, tours, then they charge it all back to the artist before royalties even hit their pocket. It's like being told, hey, congratulations, you made $1 million. Now you gotta pay back this $950,000 bill.
Oh my God.
Here's the kicker. While TLC was struggling, their label execs were becoming millionaires. Off of their backs. Clive Davis and LaFace execs were getting bonuses from the same albums TLC couldn't even eat off of. Even their lawyers were double dipping, advising the girls while also working with the label. It was a textbook case of exploitation disguised as opportunity. This wasn't just bad business. This was a system designed to trap young, talented black women into signing their rights away before they even knew what publishing was. Lisa Left Eye Lopez literally broke it down on national TV. The group was selling out stadiums, breaking records, and each member was walking away with only $50,000. Meanwhile, the label executives, they was eating filet mignon off their platinum plaques.
This is how a group can sell 10 million records and be broke. And everyone, get ready to do your math. Okay, there are 100 points on the album. TLC had 7. Every point is equal to 8 cents. All right? 7 times 8, 56 cents. But as time went on, we learned a lot. That means every time an album gets sold, TLC gets 56 cents. So 10 million records, $5.6 million. Seems like a lot of money. Well, it's not a lot of money when the record company has spent $3 million to record your album.
So
and in the record business, we pay all costs back to the record company. We pay recording costs, video costs. So now we have $2.6 million left. Well, guess what? When you have that much money, you're in about the 47, 48, 49% tax bracket. So that immediately gets deducted to $1.3 million. Then you split the rest 3 ways. You got about $300,000 if that much.
Oh my God.
Okay? $300,000. I can buy a nice house with that. And what am I going to pay my bills with?
Left Eye said it best.
Oh my God.
This is how a group can sell 10 million albums and be broke.
What? Then what's the
T-Pain
point?
didn't just make hits. He rewired the sound of modern hip-hop and pop. Before him, autotune was mostly used to discreetly correct pitch. And after him, it became a stylistic weapon. From Bayou...
Okay, I'm going to put something out there right now. Before we even listen to this, T-Pain already said many times he made shit investments. And I don't mean he put in the crypto or put in the stocks. Nothing like that. He put it in really stupid ideas. And I'm telling you, it's not, oh, give it a chance, it might grow. It's a pipe dream type thing. No, he put his literal money into things that did not make absolutely no sense. Not even like a financial like sense. It's like, hey, let's do this because it's funny, let's do it type stupid. It's not, or like, I got double dog dared by my friends to invest into this stupid idea that makes absolutely no sense because it was for the shits and giggles type stupid.
Drink to bartender.
I think there was one he mentioned that he invested, and this is, I'm not kidding, he invested into an idea where an invention that makes popcorns in your jeans. No shit, I'm not kidding. He literally made an investment where you put popcorn in your jeans and it makes popcorn in your pants. Not even making that shit up.
To every feature in the mid-2000s, his voice wasn't just recognizable.
Yep, he did. He invested into an idea invention where I think, if I remember right, it was a denim jeans that makes popcorn in your pants. Like it heats up popcorn and makes popcorn in your pants. So you take the seeds and you put it into the pants, and it's supposed to microwave the food while you can walk around and stuff with the with it in your pants, and it makes popcorn or some shit. I think it was popcorn, or like I think it was a heating pants type thing that makes popcorn. That's literally what he invested into. So I don't feel bad for this man going broke per se. I don't think he's actually broke. He's on Twitch now, and he still makes money on Twitch. Yep. Correct. That's what it was. I'm not kidding.
It became the sound of the entire era. And that's not an exaggeration. Without T-Pain, there's no Kanye West on 808s and Heartbreak. There's no Travis Scott space crooning over dark trap beats. No future melodic mumble rap.
These streams go crazy sometimes.
Even Kanye admitted it. T-Pain walked so he can 808.
It really came down to the same fact of what Kanye told me. Like, you know, he said to me that 808s and Heartbreaks is Rapper Turn Singer. Because Rapper Turn Singer was a bunch of love songs with a ton of bass in them. And I'm making love songs with bass, love songs being the heartbreak, 808s being the bass. So, in a sense, we just kind of remade Rapper Turn Singer, but, you know, in all honesty, just like Kanye said, he just had a better marketing plan.
At one point, T-Pain was so dominant that if you were an artist without a T-Pain feature, you were probably just waiting for one. He was everywhere. Grammys, BET, MTV,
no, yeah, I'm
Billboard.
sorry, I'm trying to get this.
And behind all of it, he was raking in what he said was over 40 million.
I don't think he went in detail into it per se. I think he's supposed to mention it. He might mention it here, but the pants is supposed to be. Actually, let me read the things that she sent me so I don't forget. The pants is supposed to be. I think you put it in. No, I'll look at it now. I got you. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. One second. Oh, okay, I see what happened. So that's what happened. That's insane. That's open for a lawsuit.
It all.
You would probably have some money coming your way if you sue him.
Circuit explaining how he blew through every dollar.
When you say you was broke, you had like $0?
I like had to borrow money to get my kids Burger King.
Wow.
Yeah.
After having, what's the most you ever had in the bank at one time?
40 million.
Jesus Christ. How do you have a hairline?
My God.
Yeah.
$40 million to zero. Real estate deals gone wrong.
40 million.
A $1.2 million Bugatti that kept breaking down. Jewelry, chains, custom speakers, and a stripper pole.
I'm sorry, guys. If you're rich and you're buying jewelry, you're fucking stupid. I'm dead serious. I'm not even playing this game with you. I don't care you're my mod. I don't give a shit you're a viewer, a subscriber, a member. If you're rich and you have money and opportunities and you're buying stupid jewelry just to show off, you are a fucking moron. I don't give a shit. That sounds rude. It is the facts. I do not care. Do not buy jewelry, especially if you're broke and if you're rich. You don't see Bill Gates doing that shit. You don't see Elon Musk doing that shit. Anyone who's worth a damn or worth their salt don't buy jewelry. The only thing close to jewelry that those billionaires buy is probably a stupid watch and call it a day. Actually, their clothes are more expensive than the jewelry you wear. Let's just call it for what it is. You should see the shit that Mark Zuckerberg wears. Those simple shirts he's wearing, those are thousands of dollars. Stupid still, but at least he looks like he's not going to like get robbed tomorrow. Yes, put in investments into construction, put investment into houses, put investment in that can help your community or a way that you can get money back. That can be a long-term investment. That's better to do. Go into real estate. It'll be best. You'll be better off in real estate. Don't do this. Stop buying stupid jewelry. I don't give a fuck. That shit's stupid. Imagine buying jewelry just for it to get stolen. Right? Did that happen to Jack? On Jack Dorothy, whatever the hell his name is, that one kick streamer. Didn't they steal his shit? Or something like that, I remember.
The living room. He admitted he didn't invest. He didn't budget. He trusted the wrong people. Eventually, the money dried up. He said at one point he couldn't afford to take his kids to Burger King.
If I would have had the information beforehand, right, I would have done better in my career. I would have been bigger. I would never would.
Bullshit. If you have money and you're making that type of money, it is your sole reason to get a good financial advisor to help you with your financial purchases and stuff. Get a good enough accountant and stuff like that. Sometimes those accountants can be kind of evil. They'll try to do some bullshit under you. But like I'm just saying, 9 times out of 10, if you have money, this is the perfect time to invest into education and make sure you don't make any stupid investments. Find smart people. Hang out with people who are into tech. Look, like if you have money like that where you can go to like different countries or you can hang out with certain celebrities. Look at the celebrities who are making money, who's been there in a long time, and also who's good at investing in good business. Look at them and see what they're doing. Stop buying fucking jewelry. I don't know where that ever helps anyone.
Would have gone broke. I would have never done anything. But everybody before me that I had to look up to, they were just like, no, this is great. Once you start rapping, it's gonna just money all the time. Nothing's ever gonna happen bad. Nothing bad's ever gonna happen. Your family's not gonna come after you. Nothing's gonna happen.
Imagine going from Billboard #1s to struggling with fast food money. But unlike some others, T-Pain got real about it. He got on Twitch, started producing his own music again, toured smart, and became an advocate for financial literacy. His comeback was humble, honest, and a warning to artists of today. He said, don't just get money, learn how to keep it. Before the money problems, B.O.B. looked like he was headed for Rap Pop Hall of Fame. In 2010, he dropped B.O.B. Presents The Adventures of Bobby Ray, and it blew up. He had
Listen, I would tell people get into stocks, but be very careful on that. That can go left pretty bad. So I suggest get the right information, get some education on that, do a lot of research on that. But I wouldn't say just jump into stocks and just throw your money away. Don't do that because that can lead to very bad situations. That's something you have to be like consistent with based on how stock markets work, how certain celebrities and companies work, because certain celebrities can say certain things about a company and their stock can go down almost instantly. Or if someone who owns that company, like Elon Musk, like for X or what is it, Tesla? You know, if Elon Musk says something insane that people are not vibing with, his stock can drop almost instantly. Like, look at Disney. Look at every movie that they've made so far. Most of them has been shit, and their stocks has been dropping a lot. it's still Disney. They can still bounce back. It's just they gotta stop doing the bullshit. But it is what it is. You gotta be careful.
It's with Bruno Mars, Nothing on You, Haley Williams, Airplanes, Rivers Cuomo, Magic. Every single felt like a summer anthem. He wasn't just getting radio spins. He was crossing genres, collaborating with rock stars, performing on award shows, headlining tours. But behind the scenes, the checks weren't checking. B.O.B. eventually came out and said it plainly. He was broke. He signed with Atlantic Records early in his career, and like many major label deals, his contract was designed to benefit the label, not the artist. He didn't own his music. He didn't control the revenue streams. Despite dropping platinum singles, his bank account barely reflected his success. He compared it to being trapped. The more hits he made, the more the label profited.
Okay, if anyone's a singer, a rapper, or anything, wasting your entire shit just or just by okay, if you're a rapper, singer, or whatever case may be, whatever type of entertainer you are, if you have to rely on a label or a certain company or a certain sponsorship or a certain whatever to do what you need to do, before you say, I want to sign with a label, please research the label, look at their artists, see what tragedies they have gone through with that label specifically or that company, and make sure that because they do this all the time. They tell you this all the time. So like, okay, so with, I'll use an example. So like here on TikTok, well, I'm not with the network anymore because I left them because they disbanded, but my network used to do this thing where they'll have other companies like reach out to me to work with me and stuff like that. Most of the time, they wasn't for me because, well, they didn't really bring things that can cater to my audience. Like, I do anime, art, video games, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't get a lot of that. I got a lot of, like, arts and crafts, but not arts and crafts in the sense of drawing, but, like, arts and crafts for, like, bird feeders and bird houses and everything. Like, DIY arts and crafts type stuff, not drawing. Ever rarely they brought up anything with drawing. Very, very rare. And you have to make sure that when you're dealing with these companies, it's not TikTok's job to talk to them and stuff. It's just their job to guide them to you, and that's it. Everything else after that is up to the influencer, which is me. So if I'm gonna represent their thing or I'm gonna use it in a video and all that stuff, everything's on you on that point. So whatever goes left, that's on you. It's like TikTok's like totally washed away. So if they do some bullshit that puts you in like financial problems or anything, that's on you. You can't do nothing about it. So you have to do the research on your own and figure it out, especially if they're scamming you, because you can sometimes think they're legitimate and there could be a straight up scam, and it can go left pretty fast. So be very careful, very, very careful.
Just watch everyone else get rich off his work.
I got signed. So like typically when you're an artist or you're doing a deal, a record deal, you do the record deal, and then someone's probably gonna approach you for a publishing deal if you songwrite or produce something like that. And so I mean, even if you don't, I mean, you're an artist, so someone's gonna make money.
So he broke free. He left Atlantic, went independent, and started selling music directly to his fans. He began to earn money only when he left the system that exploited him. Think about that. One of the most recognizable voices of the early 2010s had to start from scratch just to make a real living. That's not a one-off story. That's industry standard. What makes B.O.B.'s story even sadder is he was marketed as a success story, the genre-bending smart rapper who made it mainstream. But behind closed doors, the pressure to deliver crossover hits meant he lost creative control. By the time he wanted to pivot and talk about deeper topics, the label didn't care.
Nope.
His decline wasn't just financial.
Yep, you gotta be careful about that. They can control what you say, how you say it, what you say it, what topics. They'll tell you directly, nope, we're not gonna put that out. You better not put that out, or you're gonna be in non-void our contract. We can sue your punk ass. You better not do anything that we don't like. And then they'll do something in this situation where, if they want you to work with an artist, they'll make the demand into a form of suggestion. So like say you're Bruno Mars, right? and your label said, "Hey, Bruno, you're doing great, buddy. I love what you've been doing with this music. You've been making some money. That's great. Blah blah blah. Hey, that sexy red lady. She seems pretty cool. Probably you guys can, click up or whatever the hell, and then see where things go. What they're literally saying is, hey, listen, Bruno, this chick right now is popping. We need you to work with her now while she's still hot, because if we can get you and her to make a song, that's gonna be beneficial to us. So you go do that." He can't just say no. He's gonna say, "I'll do it," or I'll see what I can do, X, Y, and Z. But he can't directly just say no. He can try, and he can try avoid them, but that can go so long. But
emotional and artistic too. When he finally went indie, he started rapping about conspiracies and government control. To some fans, it seemed like he snapped. But maybe he was just finally speaking freely for the first time in years. Kesha exploded in 2009 with TikTok, one of the most infectious, high-energy pop songs of the 2000s. It broke records. It made her a star overnight. She followed it up with bangers like We Are Who We Are, Blow, and Die Young. Her image, glitter, rebellion, party girl chaos. Her reality, legal shackles. Despite all those hits, Kesha wasn't free. She was signed to Dr. Luke under Sony, and behind the scenes, she was locked in one of the ugliest contract disputes in music history. In 2014, she sued Dr. Luke for sexual assault, battery, and emotional abuse, claiming he controlled every aspect of her career and threatened to ruin her if she spoke out. But because he owned her contract, the lawsuit turned into a legal tug of war over her ability to release music at all. For years, Kesha couldn't drop music without going through the same man she was accusing of abuse. And to make things worse, she still owed him albums. If she broke the contract, she'd be sued. If she stayed, she'd have to work with him. It's a lose-lose scenario. And with that came a huge financial cost. While her old singles racked up hundreds of millions of streams, Kesha was spending millions on legal fees, not making millions from her royalties. She was one of the most famous women in pop, but she couldn't fully tour, promote, or even release music the way other artists could. For nearly 5 years, she was bleeding money while the industry moved on. Even when she dropped her powerful comeback album, Rainbow, in 2017, it was still released under the label that was tied to Dr. Luke, meaning he still profited from it. She was literally paying the man she was trying to escape from. Kesha's story isn't just about financial downfall. It's about how an artist at the top of the charts can be creatively and financially imprisoned by bad contracts and legal entanglements. And here's the real kicker. TikTok was once the most downloaded digital single in history. It made tens of millions, but the person who sang it barely saw any of it. Before the memes, Bow Wow was a superstar. He was discovered by Snoop Dogg at the age of 6 and later signed by Jermaine Dupri. By the time he was 13, he already dropped his debut album, Beware the Dog. It went triple platinum. He was the few child rappers who actually transitioned into mainstream fame. He starred in movies like Mike, Roll Bounce, The Lottery Ticket, had endorsement deals. He was all over 106 & Park and even hosted it for a while. Bow Wow wasn't just an artist, he was a brand. But somewhere between the glow up and the grown up phase, the money started to vanish. Despite being a household name for nearly a decade, Bow Wow started making headlines for all the wrong reasons. In 2017, he posted a photo on Instagram implying...
Oh yeah! Oh yeah, I remember this. Hey Artex, I'm curious, do you play any indie games? Yeah, I do. We used to play some Repo, which is funny because after this, I have to go and edit. I'm done with the stream. I gotta go edit the Repo videos and finish that off, and then, Mike, are you still here? If you're still here, I guess we'll play Peak. If you want to. I don't know if he's still here. Let me see here or so. And I remember this. This is when he said he was going on a plane or something, and he took a picture. He claimed he's taking a picture to go on his private jet, but really he just took a picture off the internet, said that he was going on this private thing, and he was He was not flying no first class or anything.
On a private jet. A fan quickly exposed them because, see, they were on the same commercial flight. The internet exploded.
I got caught. Yeah. As simple as that.
I
was
already played that all night.
flexing.
Beat that a
I
long
got
time
caught.
ago on my old
No, I was
channel,
not a
long
coach.
time
I
ago.
wasn't a Delta flight in first class. Can't explain it enough. Didn't think nothing of it. Like, I did, like, saw the picture. I said, I'm about to post this because I don't want people to know how I'm moving. Right. And I posted it just to try to derail people. Like, I post stuff all the time and people are like, you there? No, I ain't there. I'm in the house on the couch. Okay. I just wanted to post it. Get out my phone. What's it called? A dump. Yeah. Get it out. On this particular day, I posted. I'm like, cool, I can go to sleep now. People don't know. They think I'm on this and I'm not on here. I'm throwing everybody off.
Somebody actually followed you. Somebody was on the plane.
What we say about them phones? Got me, posted it, and I just had to own up to it. Like, y'all got me. Okay. You know how many rappers lie? Right. Y'all caught me one time. Right. I will never do this again. Right. It's over.
The Bow Wow Challenge was born. People posted fake flexes, mocking celebrity culture. But it wasn't just funny, it was revealing. Bow Wow had allegedly been leasing most of his luxury cars, was sued multiple times for unpaid show fees, and owed thousands in back taxes. His finances weren't lining up with the image he projected. In interviews, he admitted often he felt pressure to maintain a lavish lifestyle to stay relevant, because in the music industry, perception is currency. And for someone who grew up in the spotlight, the idea of looking broke might have been scarier than actually being broke. Bow Wow's fall is also a reflection of what happens when you grow up in the spotlight with no blueprint. He started in the music industry before he was even old enough to drive. He never had a childhood, a financial mentor, or even a moment to pause and plan. Everything was about staying hot. And when your brand is tied to always having it, there's no room for failure, even privately. It's why so many child stars end up in similar cycles. Too much fame, too soon, and no safety net when the lights fade. When Sean Kingston dropped Beautiful Girls in 2007, he was only 17 years old. That song catapulted him into global fame. It was infectious, catchy, and stayed on the Billboard charts for weeks. He followed it up with Fire Burning and collabs with Justin Bieber and Nicki Minaj. For a minute, Kingston was that guy, a pop reggae crossover star with international reach. He was living the dream, touring, buying mansions, flexing, luxury jewelry, even showing off his cars on MTV Cribs. But behind the scenes, it was a financial house of cards. Fast forward to 2024, his Florida mansion was raided by a SWAT team. Court documents revealed that he and his mother were allegedly involved in a series of fraudulent purchases. Unpaid jewelry, exotic cars, tech gear, and even a $150,000 TV. It wasn't just one missed payment. It was a systemic
$150,000
fraud.
TV. Wait, you said $150,000? $150,000 TV? What the fuck? Let me hear that again?
2024, his Florida mansion was raided by a SWAT team. Court documents revealed that he and his mother were allegedly involved in a series of fraudulent purchases. Unpaid jewelry, exotic cars, tech gear, and even a $150,000 TV.
Who the fuck needs $100,000? What the fuck? What kind of TV? What? It must be the size of the TV. It has to be like a theater-sized TV or something. Hello, have a waffle and remember to drink water. Thank you for the waffle. Thank you. Waffle. That is crazy. Who the fuck needs a waffle? Who needs $100,000 TV? Like, what the fuck? That's crazy. I can't, bro. I can't. But why? Why do you need that? That's just weird.
It wasn't just one missed payment. It was a systemic fraud. They allegedly used fake wire transfers to collect.
Like, I understand owning something, you can own something, but you don't have to own everything. Like, there's like, it's that saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, I know, but like, it's one of those situations where that's saying just because you can doesn't mean you should or you would. You shouldn't just because you can. You should only if you need to. Save your, remember, just because you're famous doesn't mean to spread your entire shit. Yeah, that too. That too.
convince companies they have
And remember,
money.
guys, just because you have TV doesn't mean you're the smartest person in the room. You could be the dumbest person and still have money. Trust me.
Had luxury items shipped and then ghosted on the invoices. It was the luxury version of Dine and Dash. He was arrested in California and extradited, and his mom was arrested in Florida. And while his attorney claims it's all a misunderstanding, the receipts say otherwise. Sean Kingston went from summer anthem king to headline news, and not in the way you want. The Sean Kingston situation is so bizarre because he didn't just fall off, like he leaned into it. He leaned into the chaos. Reports say that he literally was running a fake lifestyle empire, promising performances, ordering luxury items that he never intended to pay for.
And I remember, I think he uses, if I remember right, it was said that he was using Justin Bieber's name to do all this stuff. Redbubble, link in bio. It's Redbubble. My name's on it. It's everything, my name on it. You'll see it. It's in the bio. If you're on TikTok, you click on the TikTok link and you go straight to it. You'll see it'll say stickers, merch, whatever. It'll say stickers. It'll have Goku on it. A little chibi Goku. They're all chibi heads. Let's see here. But yeah, you can find them there. And I just added Rudo to the roster. I'm gonna be adding more of these sticker heads very soon. Yay, let's go. And they're all $1. I think $1. I think max $2. Yeah, they're very cheap. They're very, very cheap. And you can buy them in different types. Like you can buy it matted. You can buy it in holographic. You can buy it just a regular sticker or transparent. It's up to you. Yep.
Using his fame as currency. One lawsuit claims that he used Justin Bieber's name to secure.
There you go.
It's the ultimate example of how celebrity can be weaponized, not for success, but for survival. MC Hammer was at the top of the world at one time. You Can't Touch This was a cultural phenomenon. You can't touch this. He sold more than 30 million records and had brand deals, cartoon shows, and stadium tours. At his peak, Hammer was worth over 30 million. But he didn't just spend. He burned through the money. He bought a $12 million mansion in California. He kept a staff of over 200 people on his payroll, bodyguards, entourage, chefs, and even someone to take care of the horses. He had horses. He was the original giving back to the hood rapper, which is admirable. But without boundaries, it became financially catastrophic. Within a few years, he filed for bankruptcy. At one point, he owed more than $13 million. The fall was so dramatic. One minute you're too legit to quit, and the next you're too broke to function. Even crazier, MC Hammer tried to make up for it by going back to what he knew best, performing. But the magic was gone. He toured small venues, released gospel albums, and even started a tech company at one point. None of it stuck. MC Hammer was generous, but to a fault. He gave jobs to everyone from his old neighborhood, and some say he was trying to buy loyalty, and others say he just didn't know how to say no. Either way, Hammer didn't blow 30 million on himself. He blew it trying to take everybody with him. To his credit though, he eventually bounced back. He became a pastor, made some smart tech investments in Silicon Valley, and started living well within his means. But his rise and his fall is one of the most infamous financial stories in music history. Now, this next artist wrote one of my favorite songs as a kid. I had no business listening to it, but in 1999, Cisco dropped the Dong song. He became a global superstar overnight. The track was ridiculous, outrageous, and massive. It went platinum, got nonstop airplay, and made Cisco a household name. He leaned into the success. Bleached blonde hair, flashy outfits, and high energy performances. His debut solo album, Unleash the Dragon, was a commercial success. But as quickly as he rose, the industry shifted. His follow-up albums didn't perform as well. He was hit with label issues, and most critically, he didn't own a major piece of the song.
I'm old, Emmy. Your teacher's old now. I'm a unk now, as the kids would call me. I am now a unk, I think. I'm a unk. Oh shit.
The producers of the song originally sampled Eleanor Rigby, but replaced it with new strings. They dodged that bullet, but the real trouble came when Cisco insisted on using lyrics and melody from Ricky Martin's song, Livin' La Vida Loca. The producers warned him, but Cisco didn't listen. The result? The writer of Living La Vida Loca, Desmond Child, owns most of the publishing of the thong song. Cisco got paid a flat fee and minimal royalties.
All of a sudden, like, you start seeing your publishing checks going. Desmond Child has more ownership of the song than anyone.
But that didn't stop Cisco from living a lavish life. He kept spending like the money would never stop. Fashion, videos, touring.
Yeah.
But the cash flow dried up fast.
Remember, that used to play a lot back in my time. Anyone who's like near my age, either 27, 28, 29, anyone in their 20s knows what I'm talking about. They have seen that. They have seen that video, or at least heard that song once in their lifetime, at least once. In the 90s or early 2000s, or even mid 2000s. Yeah, I know. I'm just an oldie.
Icon to struggling to book shows. The Cisco story also reveals something pretty tragic about one-hit wonders. Even when you make that song, the kind everyone remembers, if the publishing and licensing isn't in your name, it doesn't matter. The track made millions for the label, the writers, the producer. But Cisco, he only made a fraction.
Wow.
Years later, he admitted he had financial regrets and made poor business decisions. It's the classic case of blowing up without a financial game plan. Toni Braxton was the voice of the 90s. Deep.
Oh, she got broke? Oh, shit. Where's all that bullshit that was going on, Tony? I didn't know she went broke. What happened? What happened, Tony? Your sister Tamar was doing that bullshit she was doing. Oh my God, on The View and shit. I never liked them hoes. Them hoes. Yeah, she went broke. I was like, what? Oh my God, what happened to that reality show? You guys didn't make no money off the reality show? That bullshit show, and that bullshit show called The View. Was it The Real? The Real. I'm sorry, The Real. Oh, I hate them hoes. I hate every last one of them. Get on shit.
Her 93 album sold over 10 million copies. And then came Unbreak My Heart, one of the biggest ballads of all time. She had Grammys, platinum plaques, sold out tours, and one of the most iconic voices in R&B. And then she filed for bankruptcy. Not once, but twice. Her first bankruptcy came in 1998, right after her career-defining run. She has sold over 15 million albums worldwide. Yet she only had $2,000 in her checking account. What? It was the classic music industry trap. She signed a contract with guess who? LaFace Records. They gave her less than 35 cents per album. After all the label fees and recoupment and management cuts, the label made tens of millions. She got scraps. In the real twist, she couldn't even perform her own songs. During the bankruptcy, the judge barred her from touring because the rights to her music were technically owned by the creditors.
Wow.
Imagine being world famous and not being able to sing the songs that made you famous. But it gets worse. In 2010, after recovering, restarting her career, and getting back on TV, she filed for bankruptcy again. It's reported she owed between $10 and $50 million in unpaid debts.
What more?
Why? She was living a lavish lifestyle, had unpaid taxes, but also she was facing legit medical issues. She was diagnosed with lupus, a chronic autoimmune disease, and had to cancel shows.
Oh, I think what's her name? Selena Gomez has that problem, I think, or some shit.
Which meant losing tons of income. She said she was sick, couldn't perform, and still had to pay for stylists, dancers, and a tour bus that she didn't use. At one point, Toni had to auction off her awards, furniture, and the rights to her royalties just to pay bills. She lost the rights to some of her biggest songs, and still kept getting labeled as difficult or bad with money. Toni Braxton's story isn't just sad, it's infuriating. She had talent, the sales, the fame, and the industry still ate her alive. Because in music, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you own. The music industry is brutal. It doesn't matter how famous you are. If you don't own your music, manage your money, or understand your contracts, you can end up broke with a plaque on your wall.
But I'm out of the music industry because ain't no money in the music industry. And I know people might get mad and trip, but I'm just saying, y'all know it's a lot of things that we used to do. It ain't no money, and you know it done tapped out. They trying to figure out how to make money off of streams. When Snoop put a post up, said, man, I sold 1 billion streams. I only made this little money with the millions in. We knew where our money from because we had tangible goods. And that's why I got into the product game. We could actually have tangible goods. I told people all the time, product outweighs talent. Probably gonna be around when we not here. Michael Jordan is still successful because of the shoes, not because him shooting balls into the hoop. That been over.
So the next time you see a rapper in a Lambo and a $100,000 chain, just remember, just how you have to pay back the money on your credit card, that artist has to pay back that advance. You see, in the music industry, the richer they look, the broker they might be. Now, one artist that didn't go broke is Michael Jackson. Even in his grave, he's still making millions. I have a video where I go deep into the impact he had on the music industry and how artists are building their entire careers off his style. Watch this video on the screen next to see more. And drop a comment. Let me know what other artists you think should be on this list. Let's talk about it. Until next time.
I don't know who this guy is, but it's alright. It was a good video. Okay. I have no idea who this dude is, but not a bad video. But I'm not here to watch him. I'm just here to watch. The real reason Disney are... Okay, let's watch that.
It's about priorities, and Congressman Rob Bresnahan just said we aren't one. Bresnahan voted to kick $17 million.
I don't care.
What you love most? What you got?
Go woke?
No. Let's see. Nah. Too controversial, caused trouble on YouTube and TikTok. Ubisoft effectively destroyed its reputation. Okay, let's go with video games.
This is the story of a company that desperately wanted to become AAA, or rather, quadruple A.
The world's greatest arcade video game, the Atari 7800. More games at about half the price.
It's 1986. 5 brothers with a computer hardware and software distribution business in Brittany, France, decided to take a
Wait, one second. I gotta do something real quick. I gotta close that window. Them fucking bugs are gonna come in here and try to attack me. Give me 1 second. Gotta get up. Stupid bugs. So sorry, something was in here. Okay, sorry about that. Nope. Okay, here we go. I used to own an Atari. Yeah, the Atari.
Swing at a brand new industry. They are not coders. They are not tech wizards. They're just a family with a knack for spotting opportunities. Their names, the Guillemos, and the man leading the charge, Yves Guillemot. This is where Ubisoft as we know it begins, not with a bang, but with a realization. The video game market is growing fast, and they went in. Ubisoft's first release, Zombie, wasn't a masterpiece. It was a clunky survival game that barely made a ripple, selling just over 5,000 copies. But it didn't need to. For Yves, it was proof that Ubisoft could crack the gaming market. And so they did. By 1995, Ubisoft had its first real breakout. Nintendo had Mario, Sega had Sonic, and for Ubisoft, enter Rayman. a quirky, limbless little hero dreamed up by a young Michel Hansel.
Rayman is a brutally unforgiving platformer with a minuscule amount of lives compared to the skill level expected of you. It's an incredibly well-designed game, creating one of the most engaging platforming experiences.
Bright, bold, and brimming with charm, Rayman wasn't just a hit. It was a signal. Ubisoft wasn't content to stay small.
I remember my cousin
They
had
were
this game.
chasing
This game was
something bigger,
frustrating.
much bigger. Eve had a vision: AAA gaming, blockbusters, global domination. So by 1996, Ubisoft went public. With an $80 million cash injection, they expanded aggressively, opening studios across the world. But there was a problem. Despite having a growing list of published titles, Ubisoft lacked major in-house franchises. Outside of Rayman and its stellar sequel, The Great Escape, they didn't have a true blockbuster, especially one that could break the American market. The guillemets, however, were always thinking ahead. They didn't just anticipate the rise of video games, they foresaw something even bigger: mobile gaming and free-to-play monetization. In 1999, as the internet spread across Europe, Michel and Gerard Guillemot, two of the brothers, founded Gameloft, a mobile and free-to-play gaming company. In its early days, Gameloft specialized in mobile Java-based adaptations of popular titles for devices like the Nokia M-Gage. Some of those titles would go on to be licensed from Ubisoft, allowing both companies to generate revenue from the same IPs. And it paid off. That same year, Ubisoft's stock went up fivefold, and with an extra $170 million to work with, they were acquiring studios, snatching up IPs, and transforming into a true development powerhouse. And so, the Golden Age hit. From the Prince of Persia Sands of Time trilogy,
You may or may not. I appreciate it. Thank you.
to Splinter Cell,
I'm gonna be adding a lot of them.
Theory, and from the many Ghost Recons to the many Rainbow Sixes, game
Thank
after
you, I
game,
appreciate it.
year after year, Ubisoft was on fire. Their titles were polished, highly rated, and commercially successful, with
Hi,
many
Man.
still
I
considered
think you're the
some
first
of the
person to actually
greatest
buy that
games
one.
of all
Hi,
time.
Man.
They had mastered their niches,
Thank
and
you.
they were selling millions. But not
Hi, Man.
everything was smooth sailing. Michel Ansel's new IP, Beyond Good and Evil, in 2003,
You're the first person to
was
buy it.
loved by
Oh, first
critics
person
and
by
fans
Python.
about
I think a
commercial
few people
disaster.
bought
It
one
was
of the other
Ubisoft's
stickers, but
first
not a lot,
major
so I'm
flop.
trying to really push them.
Yet, it cemented their reputation as a
Yeah, I'll be
company
adding more
willing to
Genshin Impact
take
characters. I know
creative
there's a lot.
risks.
I'm gonna have
Alan
to add,
Cord, Ubisoft's managing director, had this
Zero
to
Zen's
say
Endless
about
characters as
taking
well.
risks.
Or Zenless
If you
Zero.
don't do risks, you don't exist. Apart from Electronic Arts, who are not taking any risks because they can afford not to. If you have a brand, you can live on the brand you have and do the minimum job. It will sell a certain amount, but damage the franchise, and sales will fall. Behind the scenes, however, Ubisoft and Gameloft partnership continued, licensing the now
I remember
vastly popular
playing Rayman
IPs
Legends.
like
Rayman
Splinter
Legends is the
Cell
shit.
and Prince of Persia. Effectively, Ubisoft was dominating the high-end gaming market, PC, consoles, while Gameloft cornered the emerging mobile space, squeezing revenue from every possible angle through licensing fees. All the while, both companies remained within the family. It was a brilliant play, and almost no one noticed. For now, Ubisoft's reputation was bulletproof. They weren't the biggest fish in the pond, not yet, but they would soon roll the dice on something that would change everything.
Assassin's Creed. Nope, we're gonna probably play it right now after I'm done with this color.
Assassin's Creed 2007. This was the gamble, a brand new IP, untested and overly ambitious. Originally conceived as a Prince of Persia sequel, it evolved into something bolder, a clash between assassins and Templars, blending Ubisoft's strengths, stealth, platforming, and the new open-world exploration. Its biggest innovation? Parkour. As Altair, if you could see it, You could climb it, but the game wasn't perfect.
The first half of Assassin's Creed is a truly clairvoyant experience. You've never played anything like it. The sagacious story, incalculable crowd interaction, and unprecedented freedom to traverse the environment how you choose are landmark moments. Over time, repetition rears its ugly head. Combat becomes a necessary routine, and dim-witted foes snatch you out of the Third Crusade and remind you that you're playing a game. The potential here is undeniable, but there's been some dust swept under the rug that places a blemish on an otherwise beautiful piece of art.
Assassin's Creed was a template that just needed refinement, and it was also effortlessly marketable. The rich, realistic setting, almost one-for-one crafted cities, hooded assassins, hidden blades, huge NPC population for the time, leaps of faith into bales of hay. It was badass and revolutionary, and the players loved it. By 2009, Assassin's Creed had shattered expectations, selling over 8 million copies. And with its animus-driven setup, diving into the memories of long-lost ancestors, Ubisoft had something more than just a hit. They had a franchise. And if there was one thing Ubisoft knew how to do well, it was franchises.
My name is Ezio Auditore da Firenze. Like my father before me, I am an assassin.
2009, Assassin's Creed 2. This wasn't a prototype anymore. This was near perfection. Ezio, the smirking, charismatic Renaissance assassin, took everything Altair fumbled and made it better. Smoother parkour, more immersive cities, built to perfection to its real counterparts, a gripping story and writing. But more than that, Assassin's Creed 2 was the true beginning of Ubisoft's signature open-world formula. A large sprawling map, landmarks to climb to uncover the said map, and a world filled with a litany of side quest markers and completionist-oriented objectives.
Well, sadly, I'll have to do Ryoma.
Feathers or pages.
I'm just gonna do Ryoma for today, and then I don't think I'm gonna be home tomorrow. Most likely, I'm not gonna be home. So I'll have to do Yuji on Tuesday. Most likely, I have to do him on Tuesday, or unless I end up being home from work, hopefully. If I end up somehow being home, I'll finish him off tomorrow, which will actually take me probably like 30 minutes because all I need to do is copy and paste the same color and everything and just change the hair a little bit. That's it. Thank you, Emily.
To keep players engaged as they parkoured throughout the city, turning Assassin's Creed 2 not just into a hit, but also an influential title, selling over 10 million copies and cementing itself as one of the best in the franchise. Ubisoft had perfected the formula, but at the same time, they also made their first major misstep. With Assassin's Creed 2 on PC released a few months later in 2010, Ubisoft introduced Uplay, a service meant to unify all their games and in time cut out Steam entirely and optimize their revenue.
Uplay is designed to enhance your experience with the Ubisoft games you love to play, from accomplishments within the game to the way you share those accomplishments with the world. Uplay will reward you for doing what you already do.
But with Uplay came something far more controversial: always on DRM. No internet, no game. Connection drops, progress is wiped. Forums exploded with outrage. Boycotts started. Boycotters screamed, "Don't buy it," or pirate it. Then disaster struck. On launch weekend, Ubisoft servers were DDoS'd, attacked, leaving thousands unable to play for 6 hours. Then it happened again. The complaints poured in. Login failures, crashes, negative reviews. I've had this game for a few days now, but I haven't been able to play it for more than an hour at a time yet because of the permanent internet connection that is required to play the game. Sometimes it is my provider having issues, and sometimes it is Ubisoft telling me that my username and password is not correct. This is just not acceptable. The worst part? Ubisoft openly admitted that they would only remove the DRM if it was cracked. And so within a month, hackers hacked Uplay and soon released a fully bypassed version, removing the always online requirement entirely. By December 2010, they softened the DRM, requiring only a one-time activation. but it took them 2 years to remove it completely. But the message was clear. Ubisoft chose to prioritize their profits and protect their IP, which was completely legitimate, mind you, but maybe they didn't have the best intentions in mind when it came to their consumers. And this was just the beginning. Despite the growing anti-consumer sentiment, which to be fair was limited to PC users, Ubisoft had found their golden goose, and they weren't about to let it go. With the success of Assassin's Creed 2, they launched Brotherhood and Revelations, completing Ezio's amazing saga. Same formula, different cities, minor gameplay additions. But there was something impressive. They were releasing these games every single year, on top of their other franchises. Brotherhood and Revelations each went on to sell over 7 million copies. Ubisoft had hit peak AAA status, rivaling EA and Activision's yearly releases. We are challenging EA and Activision, certainly, if we keep our focus on delivering high-quality games and on attracting and retaining top talent. I'm confident we'll reach that goal of becoming number one. On top of that, remember Gameloft? By 2008, the increasing use of smartphones changed absolutely everything. The rise of app stores made digital purchases easier than ever, and Gameloft pivoted. They stopped relying on Ubisoft's brands and instead developed their own. Asphalt, Modern Combat, Dungeon Hunter, Gangstar, Crime City, many were thinly disguised clones of major franchises, but they thrived, selling over 200 million copies by 2009, and with them came something far more lucrative: microtransactions, time savers, in-game currency, pay-to-win mechanics, monetization designed to keep players spending. At the time, the broader gaming industry was starting to experiment with these tactics, but Ubisoft, they were paying very close attention.
Our first motivation was to work with great people and have fun. 25 years later, we've been able to ship more than 500 million games and entertain millions. Not bad for a company which first product had no arms and no legs. So I want to thank all of you for your support over the years.
Meanwhile, their empire was growing at an incredible pace. By 2013, Ubisoft's workforce had exploded to over 5,000 employees, with Ubisoft Montreal alone nearing 3,000 employees, making it the biggest gaming studio in the world. But success breeds confidence, confidence breeds complacency, and for Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed soon wouldn't be just a franchise anymore, but the foundation of their empire, one they would soon rely on far too heavily. And even worse, another element arose: greed.
I saw that one coming.
The definition of insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
A year later, in 2012, Ubisoft didn't just release another Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon, they also launched a new entry in the Far Cry franchise. And Vaas' infamous definition of insanity would end up being quite poetic for Ubisoft's trajectory going forward. Far Cry 3 featured a captivating villain that instantly hooked players, Vaas. It offered a massive open-world playground with satisfying gunplay and stealth mechanics. In many ways, it felt like an Assassin's Creed FPS, in ways more than one: climbing towers, clearing out enemy outposts, and a heavy emphasis on side activities like hunting, gathering, and crafting, tying themselves partially to your character progression. These were all hallmarks of the so-called Ubisoft formula, echoing in Assassin's Creed 3 that same year. Far Cry 3 went on to sell over 10 million copies, vastly outperforming its more unique predecessor, Far Cry 2, and despite its similarities to Assassin's Creed, fans embraced it. For the time, it still felt new, enough, and most importantly, fun. But then we got Far Cry 4 2 years later. New villain, new location, but the exact same gameplay loop. Still selling over 10 million copies. Then Far Cry Primal dropped in 2016, and despite being set in the Stone Age, players quickly realized it was not only the same game with the same gameplay loop, but the same map layout as Far Cry 4.
Shit!
The formula.
What?
Players
What?
quickly realized it was not only
Are you
the same
kidding
game
me?
with the same gameplay loop, but the same map layout.
Bro, it's exactly the same! It's exactly the same! That's not like even like, they're like, don't, like you copied my work type, it's the same. Like bro, like bar for bar, like word for word, bar for bar. What the fuck? Dude, motherfucker.
As Far Cry 4, the formula
That's crazy, dude.
had become a meme.
That's crazy.
Still, Primal sold
I don't know how I
well
feel
enough.
about that.
Ubisoft
Oh.
had secured yet another
Very unprofessional.
reliable franchise for easy revenue. But while Far Cry was becoming repetitive, the real signs of Ubisoft's growing greed appeared in their flagship franchise, Assassin's Creed. Although the sentiment over Assassin's Creed 3 has improved over the years,
Okay.
its initial reception back in 2012 wasn't entirely positive. This is not a bad game. However, it's not the epic we thought
crazy.
it would be. Ubisoft claimed it would be 80% a new IP, but it really is
80%?
just more of the same old, same old. There's
80%
a
new
lot
IP?
to
What does that
do.
mean?
Just don't go into it thinking of something groundbreaking. It's AC, but in America. Still, through that lukewarm reception, AC3 was also criticized for its technical issues and bugs, and for the first time, fans started to express concern about the franchise's increasingly demanding annual release cycle.
However, I felt like the last 5-10% of this game was just like, oh, wrapped up, end. I really think they ran out of time and they wanted to get this game out by the holiday season, so they're like, come on, wrap it up, wrap up the story, wrap up everything. There are still glitches and bugs in the game, doesn't matter, the holiday season sticks around for nobody, wrap the game up. So some of the glitches and bugs weren't worked out and the game just ended.
But when Yves Guillemot was asked whether too many releases were diluting the brand, his response was simple. They are necessary to satisfy demand. And he wasn't wrong. Despite everything, Assassin's Creed 3 was the best-selling AC game at the time, moving over 12 million copies. But something else was creeping in, something that would completely reshape Ubisoft's future.
Wokeness?
With the rise of online gaming, multiplayer had first been introduced in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. AC3 was no different, featuring a multiplayer mode with a progression system. And this is where we saw it for the first time, a paid shortcut, allowing players to buy upgrades with Erudito credits.
This time around, they allow you to avoid a lot of this unlocking process with this, the Erudito credit system, which allows you to buy Erudito credits from Ubisoft, and then you can unlock any item or ability, I believe, below level 50, utilizing this.
But it was fine, right? It was just optional. Just don't use it, just don't buy it, right?
While some core mechanics could still be improved, Black Flag's story, world, and systems come together to form a markedly better and more cohesive game than Assassin's Creed 3.
Black Flag delivers a world brimming with gorgeous places to go, amazing secrets to discover, and nefarious pirates to stab.
If there was ever a question that Assassin's Creed needed something ambitious to get the series back on track, Black Flag is that game and then some.
In 2013, Ubisoft fully embraced the Assassin's Creed 3 naval battles, and players loved it. To many, Black Flag was the last great Assassin's Creed game. It still had the Ubisoft open-world formula, but sailing across the Caribbean, raiding enemy ships, and managing your own ship made it fresh and exciting.
Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow he will get your fate, and it's time for us to leave her.
I hear it's
But
very
beneath
fun.
the surface, something
I've been
else
told
was
it's
creeping
pretty
in.
fun.
Following in ACA3's footsteps, Black Flag introduced something new, this time to its single-player campaign.
Final upgrades on the ship definitely feel a little too grindy, except, look, conveniently, Ubisoft will sell you a DLC pack to unlock those pesky upgrade plans automatically.
Oh, fuck you.
Time-saving boosters, pay-to-skip mechanics, the start of something much bigger. And it must have worked, because just a year later, Ubisoft doubled down. Unity launched in 2014 with even more microtransactions,
and bugs.
time-saver packs, map reveals,
It had a
revealing
bunch
the
of bugs.
location of its many side activities through Helix credits. Why? Well, according to a Ubisoft VP, quote, Ubisoft has come to recognize that some players have more money than time. This wasn't a design flaw, it was a business model. Of course, Ubisoft wasn't alone in this. EA had done the same thing with Dead Space 3 just a year prior, shamelessly offering upgrades through the in-game upgrade bench. But Ubisoft was different.
Pretty good.
They had introduced microtransactions so carefully and gradually that hardly anyone pushed back. But some voices clearly stated the issue.
I said it for Dead Space 3 and I'll say it again for any other game that tries to pull this nonsense. I cannot trust you not to mess with the in-game resource system if the temptation of pushing microtransactions on the players is there. I can't trust you to do that. I have no idea what you did to the pacing of the progression and the gathering of the various in-game currencies because you decided to muddy the water with microtransactions. So I cannot trust you.
And to make the deal even sweeter, Assassin's Creed Unity launched in an absolutely broken state. Game-breaking bugs, nightmarish facial glitches, terrible performance. For many, the game was unplayable. It's Assassin's Creed with lots of bugs, a shocking frame rate, and microtransactions of up to $100. Enjoy. Another game pushed
That
to
was
the market
crazy when I saw
before
the
it was
face
ready
thing.
for release.
Way
Keep
back
up the
when.
good work, Ubisoft.
That was a
You'll
crazy
be taking
time.
away EA's golden turd in no time at this rate. And yet, despite it all, it still sold over 10 million
Yeah, people
copies.
still defended the game still.
Ubisoft
somehow
then provided the first DLC for free or season pass holders with a free game as an apology to its terrible launch, with users saying, "Fuck, I should have bought the season pass."
a lot.
Yeah, I'm feeling blown. I don't suppose I could buy it now and still get Far Cry 4 for free. So in 2015, Ubisoft did it again. Assassin's Creed Syndicate was better polished than Unity, with 2 playable protagonists, a new grappling hook, but it was more of the same. And for the first time in a franchise, just like in Primal, the sales suffered, with Unity's disastrous launch fresh in players' minds. Syndicate sold just 5 million copies, half of what Unity had done. For the first time in years, there was no Assassin's Creed game in 2016. Instead, they promised to step back and re-examine the franchise. And as Ubisoft hit the brakes, all 3 original creators, Jade Raymond, Corey May, and Patrice Desilets, had progressively been leaving the company. The minds that built Assassin's Creed were now gone. At this point, many players were checking out of Ubisoft games entirely. The formula was predictable, and the phrase "if you played one, you played them all" became more common. But millions still loved the gameplay loop, be the slow progression, the map clearing, endless side content. It was addictive. It was like comfort food. You knew exactly what to expect. And on top of that, the marketing was always compelling. A new historical or unique setting, or a new massive open world. It was enough to keep players intrigued. But there was a limit, and Ubisoft was dangerously close to hitting it. Or were they really? Because while all of this was happening back in 2012, they had taken another gamble, one that would stain their trust forever.
Oh yeah, yep. This was I am a victim of this. Yeah, Watch Dogs. That was a fucking lie. That was a giant lie. When I got that game and I played it, it did not look like anything that was in the E3 trailer at all, or demo. It didn't look as good. It looked really shitty. It just felt very bland. The first one was ass. Now I heard that the second one did more improvements compared to the first one. And then I think they did better on the third one, but that kind of left too in its own way. But yep, when I got this game and I played it back in my old channel when I was doing gaming back in 2013 or so. Was it 2013? Was it 2013? 2012? 2013? It went left hard. And that was a fucking lie.
In 2012, Ubisoft unveiled Watch Dogs, their answer to Grand Theft Auto, but with a hacker twist. A glimpse at the future with the first game demo video of Watch Dogs, said the description. With all their resources, all their talent, maybe this could be true. The first gameplay demo stunned gamers. The visuals were breathtaking, the animations lifelike, and the idea of hacking an entire city at your fingertips, it was revolutionary. Hype skyrocketed, millions watched in awe. It became one of Ubisoft's most pre-ordered games ever. But it was all a lie. When Watch Dogs finally launched in 2014, it was aggressively mediocre. Forums exploded with side-by-side comparisons, proving just how much had been changed. Ubisoft denied any downgrade, but reality said otherwise. And as if that wasn't enough, Ubisoft's infamous Uplay service, forced onto all their games, was completely broken at launch. Again. Yet, despite everything, Watch Dogs still sold over 10 million copies. But something had changed. Some gamers no longer trusted Ubisoft's promises. They had seen behind the curtain, but Ubisoft, they had already figured out how to keep the hype machine running.
The real truth is, no one watched. No one saw.
Valhalla.
Wanted to see.
No, this is
Tragedy is invisible.
Ghost Recon. Tom Clancy's The Division.
Run from it if they can.
The Division, a gripping cinematic trailer, a chilling outbreak consuming New York, and then a gameplay trailer, carefully orchestrated, stage voiceovers, strategic camera angles, and the cherry on top, the closing door animation. The internet lost its mind. Ubisoft had figured out the formula, a beautiful CGI trailer, a perfect vertical slice of gameplay, a promise. But when The Division launched in 2016, a disappointment for many, comments flooded in. I actually prefer watching this video than playing the game. But Ubisoft couldn't resist another cash grab. The game felt incomplete. It was a grindy looter shooter, but without a compelling endgame, with the rest of the content blocked behind the season pass and DLC. Then came the microtransaction store, despite assurances from game director Magnus Jensen, who explicitly said, you cannot spend a little bit of money and fast track to get better gear.
Yeah, sometimes they do that. Sometimes they just use his name, even though he's dead and gone. But I think majority, when he was alive, most of them I think he written or he dealt with. But now, his name is just now a literal. Yes. They do that now even with Overwatch. If you want to play this story mode on Overwatch, you have to pay. It comes with the battle pass type shit. So it's kind of annoying. Fucking what do you call it? Destiny does this very thing. That's why I came to realize I stopped playing Destiny. You gotta be rich to play Destiny. You have to be rich to play Destiny. I don't care if I sound broke saying this, but you have to be rich to play something like Destiny. It's like a pseudo MMO type of game where you have to pay money just to play the game in general. You can't even play like certain packs of the game. You have to have all the packs of the game. So like if you have like the first pack of the game out of the 30 that's out, you can't play this game. You are gonna be strictly limited to do anything on that fucking game. Like if you can. The only thing you can probably do as fun is be in the lobby with the other people who have like 30 different like expansions than you. Straight up. You have to be rich to play it. Like Destiny. Like, if you're someone coming in playing Destiny for the very first time, you have a lot of content you're gonna be playing, but you have to shell a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money just to keep up, just to get to your, keep up with other people, or just with your friends and family, or whoever's playing the game.
Here or pay to win or vanity items, we do not have that. A few patches later, a premium vendor appeared, selling those same vanity items for real money. And yet, it shattered records. The best-selling Ubisoft game at launch, surpassing Watch Dogs. Over 20 million copies were sold. And finally, Rainbow Six Siege.
I'm taking out the main entrance. Right there. No, we got this. Get her out. I got him. Keep it moving. Shit, I'm dead. Window upstairs, go. Whoa, wait. She's down. I have to revive her. Come on me. I got you. Get out of here.
Another beautifully marketed trailer, a return to the tactical shooter franchise after 6 long years, which, while becoming one of their most successful live service projects, originally launched to mediocre reviews and, of course, egregious microtransactions, but improving with time, retaining and growing a steady player base for a unique multiplayer experience. But by this point, the cycle of overhyped promises, copy-paste design, and under-delivering, coupled with years of aggressive monetization, was about to spell their doom, even as they doubled down further on live services and microtransactions. With the return of a giant, Ubisoft was about to test just how far players and their wallets could be pushed. Assassin's Creed Origins.
They are the first to call themselves the Assassins.
Ubisoft's Montreal's goal was to modernize Assassin's Creed, to lift the series out of the pit that Unity and Syndicate left it in. Inspired by the massive success of The Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed transformed into an RPG-light experience. The combat was reworked into an action-heavy system. RPG staples like gear, stats, skill trees, and level progression were added, alongside a bigger emphasis on open-world exploration. But the gamble paid off. Origins was a massive success, selling over 10 million copies and bringing both old and new fans into the fold. However, a number of fans voiced concerns over the dilution of the identity of the franchise, calling it Assassin's Creed in name only, not just because of the introduction of the RPG elements, but the increasing focus on its mythological fantasy side, plus the age-old criticism, an even more bloated open world, repetitive side content, and an exhausting gameplay loop.
There's a lot of give and take here and a lot of changes, but one thing absolutely hampered my enjoyment. It's the repetition. Now, it's not based on the collectibles, but it's continued on the Club Med-like enemies, the settlements, and the guardhouses that positively choke the environment, with each offering a kill the captain and find some treasure kind of shakedown list, and it continues over and over and over.
And then there was the monetization. By this point, Ubisoft's aggressive pricing models were expected. Tables with multiple editions, time saver packs, cosmetics and maps to reveal in-game secrets. It was interesting. The more time-saving microtransactions they added, the more bloated the game became. But Origins introduced something else. Hecka chests.
But it's also important to not mince words here. The game does technically allow players to pay for loot boxes or gamble for random rewards. Regardless of how unobtrusive or optional they may seem, it's important to acknowledge that paid loot boxes are still there in some form, so that those with addictive tendencies can be wary.
Loot boxes, the industry's most controversial trend, had officially crept its way into Assassin's Creed. Now players didn't just have the option to pay to save time, they could pay for power. While technically avoidable as their other MTX, as the currency was obtained in-game, the introduction of loot boxes through buyable currency raised the previous critical concern. Could Ubisoft really still be trusted to design their games without microtransactions influencing progression and game design? But instead of pulling further back, Ubisoft
buzzing
tripled
sound?
down. When Assassin's Creed Odyssey launched just a year later, it expanded on Origin's RPG formula, introducing an even larger map, more side activities, and a deeper upgradable gear system. But for some players, it felt excessive, bloated to the point of being deliberately grindy, designed to nudge those with more money than time towards microtransactions, and Ubisoft knew it. When Odyssey launched, some time-saver microtransactions were completely absent for the first month. Later, they even adjusted XP gains from side activities, subtly admitting that the default progression was grindier than it was meant to be.
Buzzing?
At this point, these
I don't hear
tactics
buzzing.
weren't just limited to Assassin's Creed, they were spreading everywhere.
Yeah, a lot more than you think.
It became clear with the successes of Origins and Odyssey that mainstream players were engaging heavily with Ubisoft's approach to microtransactions. So much so that for the first time, their microtransaction revenues surpassed the digital sales of actual games. So of course, they were not gonna stop. In 2018, Ubisoft expanded that model into the Far Cry franchise. Far Cry 5 and then New Dawn featured cosmetics, time savers, and even weapons available for purchase. And again, it worked. Far Cry 5 went on to sell millions of copies, becoming the best-selling entry in the series. Then there was For Honor, a bold new IP and a great concept that barely functioned at launch.
Shit netcode, crappy matchmaking, and worst of all, using peer-to-peer connections all under fucking Uplay. It is infuriating.
On top of bugs and server issues, the game was aggressively monetized. Gamers quickly crunched the numbers and discovered that unlocking everything available would cost over $732, or more than 2.5 years of playtime. Ubisoft did respond directly to this claim with this.
We never had an intention for you to unlock everything in the game.
Keep in mind, this was a full-priced game from $60 to $90. Ultimately, much like Rainbow Six Siege, For Honor received post-launch support, and with time, balance...
Remember the days when you can just buy a fucking game? You didn't have to worry about no stupid microtransactions or updates. Or if the game was ass, the game was ass. If it had any glitches or anything like that, if the game was ass, the game was ass. That's why I think games back then are way better compared to games now, because the laziness comes in when you can just say, oh, we'll patch it tomorrow, or we can patch another day, we can get around to it. This makes you sure, this ensures that people who are like game developers back then, that we make sure there's no bugs in this game. This game has to be like top tier platinum. When you think of it now, games back then was more top tier platinum than they are now, because there was no worry about if there was a game breaking bug, it was either something that was so hard to like find, or something that was something that was like, this is something that someone personally did or hacked the game per se. But if the game was ass, the game was just ass. I miss those days. You buy a game, it was ass, and if it was ass, you send it back. Sonic 06, I'm looking at you.
Changes and dedicated servers a year later gave the game a second wind, at least for a little while.
Do you guys still hear the
this
buzzing or
monetization
whatever?
philosophy carried into Ghost Recon Wildlands, Ubisoft's open-world reinvention of the tactical shooter series, and of course, it came with loot boxes. Despite a mixed reception, Wildlands became surprisingly popular, reaching over 15 million players. But it was its sequel, Breakpoint, that would poetically and finally break Ubisoft. Breakpoint in 2019 completely abandons Ghost Recon's identity of being a single-player tactical military sim to add some looter-shooter elements that could be monetized with XP boosters, time saver packs, loot boxes and microtransactions galore.
People say it feels like a game with no unifying vision, but I disagree with that. I think there is a unifying vision, and that vision is monetization. When you view the games through the lens of monetization, all of its weird, confused, out-of-place choices make absolute sense. I think the social hub exists so that players feel pressure to buy cosmetics and emotes with microtransactions. I think the shoehorned RPG mechanics exist because they can so easily be monetized, allowing people to purchase upgrades they want instead of grinding for them, which is exactly how it worked in Far Cry New Dawn and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, by the way. I think the banal daily and weekly missions exist to keep people playing for longer so they can be monetized. I was barely able to craft anything after 6 or 7 hours of play, and I think that stingy economy tuning exists so that it can be monetized.
We had reached a point where monetization was no longer subtle. It was clearly influencing game design, and to its greatest detriment across Ubisoft games. Despite all of this, Yves Guillemot defended Breakpoint's microtransactions, claiming they were entirely optional, just like in all their other games. He even suggested that the store's design was inspired by the successful monetization model of Wildlands, effectively blaming the players for its existence. And to be fair, he wasn't entirely
He's not wrong.
but
He's
Ubisoft
not wrong. I said this. If y'all stop buying the stupid DLC, they'll have to stop. But because these kids are born in the Fortnite era, or past the Fortnite era, they think this is what video games always been about. You buy the stupid battle pass that's always been there. It's been there ever since the dawn of time. No. That's why I look at my little brother and I'll be like, you're a fucking idiot. Stop buying like Fortnite shit like for a skin. It's dumb. And then imagine buying a Fortnite skin and you still trash at the game. You're straight trash at the game, right? But you're buying the most expensive skin. Why? Why? Like, why? That is horrible. That is a dumb idea. That's like having a very expensive car and you can't drive it. It's really dumb. It's like having a sports car that is extremely cool looking and can go super fast, but you cannot drive it. Because obviously if you drive, you're gonna crash that fuck. Like what? Like why, dude? Why are you doing this? This is stupid.
Ubisoft wasn't done yet. Not only some microtransactions had to be removed due to backlash, in 2021, Ubisoft pushed even further into predatory practices by jumping on the NFT bandwagon.
Oh, here we go.
Ubisoft Quartz, a service for buying in-game cosmetics as NFTs, was overwhelmingly hated by players. Even Ubisoft employees spoke out against it. In the end, the market rejected the idea entirely. The trade volume was nearly non-existent. And after less than a year, Ubisoft quietly shut down Quartz and its respective digit NFTs, pretending it never happened. Despite all the controversies and backlash up until this point, Ubisoft was making a lot of money. From 2015 to 2018, during the height of microtransactions, amping up general monetization, bloated worlds, broken promises, and broken games, Ubisoft's stock price skyrocketed, going from 15 euros per share to 100 euros per share. So why would Ubisoft stop? Why would they change anything? So they kept going and going. At the end of the day, making money is a business job that is acceptable and it is expected. That's why the Guillemots got into the gaming industry in the first place. But when you keep churning out the same products, relying on the same franchises, pumping them out on a yearly basis, while at the same time amping up monetization to squeeze out every last possible cent, consumers should at least expect a functioning product. A game not hampered by its monetization, a game that with all the money and resources behind it might even revolutionize the industry. But that wasn't happening. At this pace, a breakpoint was inevitable, and it started with Breakpoint. Ubisoft had spread itself too thin. Too many franchises, too many games and too much copy-paste design, where every title blurred together, showing a clear lack of creative risk, while focusing their design decisions on what can be monetized. Ubisoft's reputation and brand were on the verge of collapse. Even Yves Guillemot was forced to admit that Breakpoint disappointed in sales and failed to differentiate itself from the company's other open-world titles, especially considering that The Division 2, while less aggressively monetized, had also underperformed commercially. In response, Ubisoft delayed multiple upcoming projects and vowed to rethink their strategy, but the damage was already done. Their stock price plummeted as their net booking forecast was slashed from 2.2 billion euros to 1.5 billion euros. And while these delays might have been the right move, their underlying strategy wasn't about to change. It was the first long-awaited crack in the empire, and things were only about to get worse, where mediocrity and AAA budgets clashed. But while Ubisoft struggled internally, another battle was brewing, one that would have changed their fate entirely. Vivendi, a French investment giant, had already acquired Gameloft, the mobile free-to-play company, in 2016. Now, they set their sights on Ubisoft, attempting a hostile takeover. Desperate to fend them off to stay independent, Ubisoft sought allies, eventually partnering with Tencent, selling 5% of its shares in a deal that not only blocked Vivendi, but also paved the way for Ubisoft's expansion into China's lucrative gaming market. With no path forward, Vivendi backed down, and in the process, Ubisoft and Tencent's close relationship began. But even with this small victory, Ubisoft wasn't out of hot waters yet. By 2020, Ubisoft faced one of its biggest scandals, a wave of sexual misconduct allegations that rocked the company at its core. It started with a forced resignation of Splinter Cell's creative director and vice president of Ubisoft editorial, then several other employees. Reports described Ubisoft's Paris headquarters as feeling like a frat house. Allegations ranged from inappropriate comments and unwanted touching to sexual advances. In one disturbing case, Ubisoft set its worst financial state in over a decade, buried in debt, suffering from mediocre releases, and losing the trust of players and investors alike. Despite Ubisoft's mounting controversies, none of it was enough to deter fans from their next major release, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. By this point, players knew what to expect, but Valhalla took things to another level. Its sheer size and repetitive grind were widely criticized, with some accusing the game of being artificially prolonged. And yet, none of this stopped it from becoming a financial juggernaut. Thanks to the Viking theme, pandemic-era gaming boom, and the enduring popularity of Assassin's Creed, the game generated over $1 billion in revenue. But that billion-dollar success did little to prevent the disaster that was brewing. Those games, previously delayed before, well, Immortals Phoenix Rising, Ubisoft's attempt at a Zelda-like open-world RPG, launched to a thoroughly mediocre reception. Despite Ubisoft expressing satisfaction with its performance, it wasn't enough to justify a sequel. The project was soon quietly scrapped, and the IP buried. Watch Dogs Legion, following in the footsteps of the divisive Watch Dogs series, boasted an ambitious play-as-anyone system. Despite both past games surpassing 10 million players early on, the game launched in a broken state, riddled with game-breaking bugs and technical issues. The reception was once again mixed, and Ubisoft never disclosed final sales numbers beyond the initial 1.9 million copies in its first days. Reports later surfaced suggesting that the Watch Dogs franchise was effectively dead. Far Cry 6 fared better. Despite lukewarm reviews and little enthusiasm from gamers, The franchise's dedicated player base ensured it crossed the 10 million sales mark. Then came Rainbow Six Extraction, a spin-off of Siege that replaced tactical counter-terror with alien-like creatures. Critics slammed it for feeling uninspired. A whole $60 Rainbow Six game based on a 4-year-old event, while Rainbow Six Siege still maintains a peak of 70,000 to 100,000 players years after launch. Extraction barely broke 2,000 players before fading into irrelevance. Then there was X Defiance, Ubisoft's free-to-play shooter, dead on arrival.
Class shooter for you, the players, to compete and have fun with your friends. It's fast-paced firefights. Meets We're proud to introduce our new game, Tom Clancy's X Defiance.
Tom Clancy's series went from cool tactical games based off or inspired from the books to this is a Tom Clancy game because it has a gun. This game was auto-generated by an algorithm. And so, with that reception, it struggled to find an audience and was shut down a year later in June 2025. The goal of becoming number one was ever so distant. Even Assassin's Creed Mirage, a game that promised a return to the franchise's roots, failed to reignite interest. Despite the nostalgic marketing, it failed to captivate both old and new fans, selling just 5 million copies. On par with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, one of the franchise's weaker-selling entries. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, from the makers of The Division, received barely any marketing, accumulating just about 2 million players. In terms of revenue, half of what The Division games did in their launch week. And then there was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, easily one of Ubisoft's most creative and polished releases in years, but suffered from Ubisoft's poor marketing and pricing strategy, with much criticism towards the modern take of the beloved IP. Nothing like some gangster rap to really feel those Prince of Persia vibes. The game barely sold over 1 million copies, and the development team at Ubisoft Montpellier was disbanded shortly after. Beyond Good and Evil 2, still in development hell. Announced all the way back in 2008, the game remains in limbo, costing Ubisoft untold millions, with no release date in sight.
Oh my god.
But the worst of them all, Skull and Bones. A game that promised to take the best elements of Assassin's Creed Black Flag's naval combat and pirate theme and turn it into a full-fledged experience. Instead, it became a development nightmare spanning nearly 10 years. The budget reportedly ballooned to an astronomical $650 to $850 million, far beyond the standard $100 to $300 million for Ubisoft's biggest AAA titles.
Oh no!
And yet, the game flopped, selling less than 1 million copies. And through all of this, Ubisoft continued to aggressively monetize its games. CEO Yves Guillemot even justified a Skull and Bones controversial $70 price tag by calling it a quadruple-A game. Then came Ubisoft's next quadruple-A title, Star Wars Outlaws. Despite its premium pricing and multiple editions, launched in a broken state and received mediocre reviews due to undercooked gameplay. Sales barely surpassed 1 million copies. Meanwhile, Ubisoft's push for its own storefront, Ubisoft Connect, and its Ubisoft Plus subscription only alienated players further. Since 2020, Ubisoft had been pulling its games from Steam, making them exclusives to its own launcher and the Epic Games Store. To make matters worse, reports emerged that Ubisoft had been asking Steam to hide player counts to avoid bad PR. By 2024, Ubisoft's Philippe Tremblay openly stated that players should get used to not owning their games,
yeah, fuck that.
as he was pushing the company's subscription model as the inevitable future of gaming, mirroring the shift from physical to digital media. Conveniently, a subscription model for a series of games that were designed with monetization in mind, with long and bloated playthroughs. But adding to the topic of not owning our games, back in 2014, when Ubisoft was in their era of overhyping and overpromising these amazing games, the crew was right in the mix, spawning various sequels. However, without warning, the original game would shut down in March 2024. Days later, they started revoking licenses, removing access to the game entirely with no refunds, no offline mode, nothing, even though the code for an offline mode existed. Players were furious, and in November 2024, Matthew Castle and Alan Leo sued Ubisoft for misleading consumers, comparing it to buying a pinball machine only to wake up one day and find all the pieces missing. Even though you paid full price to receive this game, you never knew that the manufacturer could come in one day and, without your control, leave you with a skeleton of what you thought you paid for. Ubisoft then had the audacity to respond by doubling down to dismiss the case, saying that there were no reasons for players to believe they were purchasing unfettered ownership rights in the game.
Thank you for.
It wasn't just the sales that were in freefall. Player sentiment had hit rock bottom. Despite boasting 45 studios worldwide and nearly 20,000 employees, Ubisoft's output was equally bloated. In terms of revenue per employee, Ubisoft lagged behind every other major AAA publisher. And then came the financial reckoning. Ubisoft had flopped over and over again, leading to massive debt. These many disasters were the final straw, and the company's stock collapsed, plummeting from its highs of 80 euros per share down to the 10 euros range. Through various layoffs, employees were also leaving in droves, including Assassin's Creed veterans. Poor wages, mismanagement, poor leadership, constant failures, and rushed releases had driven morale to an all-time low, where work was rarely compensated, even through crunching, a broken workforce that often led to broken games. Ubisoft is an org that uses its budget on numbers, not quality. They get bloated projects with 3 times the needed people of low average experience or ability, such that a lot of work is slow or poorly done.
So a bunch of DI hires.
Leadership that endlessly debates the same arguments for years. And for being part of all that shit, you get basically no pay relative to your qualifications. I've seen design teams so poorly document their work, they basically have nothing to show for it after years of work. Is the game matching design?
That's nice.
Who knows? Ubisoft was no longer just in trouble. It was in a crisis. It was inevitable that then investors' confidence in the company reached an equal all-time low. In a formal letter, shareholders demanded that Yves Guillemot step down as CEO, calling for a complete management shakeup, restructuring, and even the possibility of taking the company private. Ubisoft at the current state is mismanaged, and shareholders are hostages of the Guillemot family members and Tencent, who take advantage of them. Management is focused on pleasing investors with beating quarterly results and not focusing on long-term strategy to provide exceptional experience for the gamers. Something had to change. Something had to happen. But before any major decisions could be made, Ubisoft had one last gamble, one final hope to sway investors and turn public perception around. Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh no. We're near to the end.
Although Assassin's Creed Shadows was a crucial game for Ubisoft's financials, it immediately bred a controversy. Despite taking place in feudal Japan, a setting fans had begged for over a decade, Ubisoft's decision to portray Yasuke as a supposed legendary African samurai was met with mixed reactions. Some dismissed the criticism, arguing that Assassin's Creed had always been historical fiction.
Right, because you guys took the words of a white guy who made that up. He said he made it all up. It was proven that he made it up. All the shit that was about Yusuke or Yasuke, whatever the hell the dude's name. All
all of it was made up by a white guy. None of it is real. Now, the existence of him was a little bit real, where he was some type of like slave or something like that, or somewhat of a slave or something like that. But him becoming a samurai and all that stuff, that was all that extra stuff was handcannoned by some white guy. I forgot his name. He was kicked out of the
Others accused Ubisoft of twisting history, questioning how the company's so-called researchers and historians justified the portrayal.
Japan was pissed off about this. They said none of this was real.
What should have been a triumphant setting for the franchise instead sparked a divisive debate. And that was by far not the only problem. Assassin's Creed Shadows stumbled at every possible turn. Ubisoft found itself using copyrighted material, selling merchandise featuring sensitive symbols like a one-legged Torigate reminiscent of the one found in Nagasaki, the town that was hit by a nuclear blast in 1945, violating Japan's strict cultural guidelines over its use of real shrines and letting them be destroyed, too much needed delays, and so much more. The controversy escalated so far that the game was even discussed in Japan's national diet. The Japanese officials then later even published a video stating that Ubisoft had remained silent, unable to reply to their concerns. Ubisoft was no stranger to backlash from various countries, but this time the controversy was bigger than ever before. Ultimately, and despite it, the game saw a positive reception among many longtime fans, reaching 3 million players in its first week. This included both sales and Ubisoft Plus subscriptions.
You mean
However,
not for the Japanese?
Many
They didn't make it for the Japanese. They made it directly not for the Japanese. That's why the Japanese didn't like it, because one, it was not historically accurate, and they got a lot of things wrong. Not only because of the items and weapons, they even got some of this the architecture wrong. Especially certain seasons and stuff like that. They got a lot of things wrong. So that pissed off to Japan.
players remained lukewarm, calling Shadows yet another aggressively mediocre Ubisoft title, with many of the same issues as before.
Players can buy weapons and armor with real money, not cosmetics, but legendary equipment with actual stats and unique passives. Upon reviewing the store, I realized just how much of Ubisoft's game design is dictated by its monetization. The game's economy is deliberately restrictive to encourage spending. They slow you down in hopes that you spend more. The entire design is built around inconvenience just to sell you a solution.
Yeah, that's how that works. I'll pay you money to go away. You pay me money to go away. It's like a reverse distortion. Distortion? Distortion? Is it distortion? I think I'm using the wrong word.
For Achilles' heel, that's the root to all of their evils. Why wasn't this talked about in a single review? Ubisoft games are not designed as games, they're designed as marketing.
Not distortion. What is that called? Oh my god. It's like a bribery thing.
Attractions. Shadows was just a continuation of everything that was wrong with Ubisoft for more than a decade. But this time, it wasn't the massive financial hit they desperately needed. And with that failure, rumors of deals surrounding its IPs and Tencent finally became a reality. On March 27, 2025, Ubisoft announced the creation of a new subsidiary, with Tencent acquiring a 25% stake through a 1.16 billion euros investment at a valuation of 4 billion euros. This new identity was worth more than Ubisoft itself. Its sole purpose? To safeguard the company's most profitable crown jewels, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six, while the parent company struggles to manage the other less successful IPs, leaving many beloved franchises like Splinter Cell or Prince of Persia further in the limbo. Yves Guillemot framed it as a necessary evolution, stating, "This is a foundational leap in changing Ubisoft's operating model that will enable us to be both agile
I guess that right.
and
It's
ambitious."
distortion. I was right.
As for Martin Lau, Tencent president, we see the immense potential for these franchises to evolve into long-term evergreen game platforms and create engaging new experiences for gamers. Ubisoft managed to delay the inevitable, separating the good apples from the rotten ones, at least for now. But not everyone was happy. Investors sent yet another formal letter, this time demanding that the deal be renegotiated, an extraordinary dividend to be sent, but also exclude Tencent from voting and limit the Guillemot family-owned voting rights. This comes off the back of Ubisoft's stock plummeting to yet new lows in the week following the announcements over its uncertainty to what it meant to Ubisoft as a whole. Meanwhile, studios and employees braced for what had become an unavoidable reality: layoffs, closures, and more uncertainty about what would be left standing when the dust settled. But I want to leave you with this. Ubisoft's controversies and its crumbling reputation didn't start 2 years ago, or
Mike,
even
you still
5
here or
years ago. These issues have been brewing for over a decade, and yet, despite everything, the broken launches, the microtransactions influencing game design, the overpromising and under-deliveries, people still bought, people still played, and people still found themselves disappointed. But they kept buying. It took years of failures for those disappointments to finally turn into poor sales, forcing Ubisoft to make at least some changes. But if Shadows and Far Cry 6 are any indication, these franchises aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The Guillemots built their business on supply and demand, first in software and hardware, and later in video games. They pushed out yearly releases because there was the demand. They added microtransactions because there was the demand. Their games were overhyped and under-delivered, yet they still sold. Their monetization schemes were resented, yet they still worked. So after everything, after all the anti-consumer practices, the corporate greed, and the damage done to their employees, shareholders, and players' trust, if people continue to buy, is the fault really only on the company and its management, or is it on the consumer who keeps engaging in these same purchases, or both? I'll leave that question to you. But if you've grown tired of giving Ubisoft your hard-earned cash, maybe it's time to spend it on something a little bit more satisfying, like some gamer subs. They are keto-friendly, sugar-free energy drinks, available in both caffeinated and non-caffeinated options, with a ton of awesome flavors to choose from. And yeah, they got waifu cups. Why the hell not? If you want to support the channel beyond just subscribing, which is already amazing, you can use my code SELWIN at checkout or click the link in the description for 10% off. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming.
Alright guys, we was gonna play Peak, but I think it is past 10, and I don't know if I'm going to work tomorrow, so I wanted to play Peak today, but when I think of it more and more, I should just wait. I wanted to play Peak, but it took me a little longer to get this out of the way. This is almost done, so Ryoma's done. Yuji's near done. He just needs to be colored in and shaded, and then he's done. But I'm not gonna do that on stream. We'll do it next time. It is past 10. By the time we start even having real fun, it'll be past 12, and I have to go to bed early if I have to. So, as much as I want to, I don't think I should. It'd be the smart thing to do. I wanted to play Peak and see what the game was about. Go sleep. Okay. Probably gonna go sleep, play repo. Okay, Mikey. Alright, Mikey. Alright, guys. Have a great night. Thank you guys for coming. I do appreciate it. I hope you guys had fun watching this or enjoyed this. Today we did a bunch of stuff today. We did some line work. We did some sketches here and there. You know, we did 1, 2, 3. Some sketches here. Just for the fun, for a good warm-up. But, we're going to finish the commission on Tuesday. I think what we're going to do Tuesday, we're going to finish this commission and also play some Peak. Hopefully I'm home. I'm home tomorrow. I don't know. I doubt it, but it is what it is. So have a great night. Still don't like that arm. It looks kind of off. It looks strange. All right. So with that said, have a great night. Thank you guys. I appreciate every last one of you. Thank you. If you guys want to support, go to the Patreon. I'll be dropping a lot of exclusive stuff over there on Patreon next week or so. So look out for that. Once this is out of the way, once the commission's done, I'll be dropping pinup girl stuff on Patreon and or Buy Me a Coffee. Which one you pick is the same pricing, same everything, nothing's different. So you can go check that out if you want. Link in bio, whether on TikTok or Instagram or case may be. They're all the same exact price, same exact perks, and stuff like that. So have a great night and stay safe. And I'll see you guys next time when I'm on. All right, later guys. Bye bye.